by Sunday night, some of the storms could be strong. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Thomas.
At CB&S Bank, we've been meeting the needs of our customers since 1906. Need help setting up new business goals? Our line of commercial loans can help you achieve them. Go to cbsbank.com to find a location near you. All loans subject to credit approval, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
1819 News.
Lieutenant Governor Will Ainsworth is currently in Washington, D.C. in order to advocate for two projects here in Alabama. Ainsworth says he will discuss the relocation of the U.S. Space Command from Colorado to Huntsville, as was originally decided during President Trump's first term in office. Ainsworth says he's also going to discuss the widening project of Interstate 65 from the Tennessee-Alabama line to the Gulf of America. In a speech that Trump delivered to the Alabama Republican Party last year in Montgomery, Trump mentioned the widening project of Interstate 65 and said that this would be one of the first things he would do to help the great people of Alabama. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Did you know that 70% of people experience a potentially traumatic event in their lifetime, and that 6 out of every 100 adults face PTSD every day? Help us bring hope to these survivors by signing up for your Alabama Distinctive PTSD Awareness license plate today. The great thing is you can sign up no matter when your current plate renews, and the first year is complimentary. All you need is your VIN number on hand. Drive awareness, drive hope, and customize your plate today at atease.org. That's ATEASE.org.
Police in Talladega are offering a $2,500 reward to find a missing 19-year-old man. Stacy Lynch disappeared from his apartment in Talladega back in December of 2020. That's 4 years ago. Lynch is described as a black male, 5'7", 130 pounds, with brown eyes, black hair, and multiple tattoos on his body. Anyone with information on Lynch's disappearance should call Central Alabama Crime Stoppers. Frito-Lay is recalling its Tostitos tortilla chips. The recall is limited to 1,300 bags that are sold in 13 states, including Alabama. The yellow corn tortilla chips also contain nacho cheese flavor that has a milk ingredient not declared on the bag. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
When you need a new door or window replaced, you want someone experienced who delivers expert craftsmanship every time. Davis Door & Sash. Right now, you can get a tax incentive for installing energy-efficient doors and windows. Mention this ad and get 10% off materials. Davis Door & Sash was voted Best of the River Region in Windows and Installation in 2024. We'd love to work for you. Call 334-288-6010 or visit davisdoorandsashalabama.com. Davis Door & Sash is the perfect fit for your home.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-457-6060. That's 1-800-457-6060. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-457-6060. That's 1-800-457-6060.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
At Guardian Credit Union, we believe that banking should be personal, just like the relationships we build with members. Imagine a place where you're not just a credit score, but a valued part of our community. At Guardian, our dedicated team takes the time to listen, understand, and tailor financial solutions that fit your unique needs. From buying a car to saving for college and even starting a small business, we've got you covered. Come experience the Guardian difference and let's achieve your financial goals together. Guardian Credit Union, where you belong. Federally insured by NCUA.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Country. We live in the southeast. We drink sweet tea. We don't drink socialist Kool-Aid.
Can you get a cough, please? Leave the room. They're all different shades of color. They're like sort of white, but one's like an orange white. My favorite color, orange.
Fat broads and horse-faced lesbians.
Shut up, silly woman.
Now you conduct yourself in a democracy.
Joey Clark.
Welcome into the program. I'm your host, Joey Clark, here on a beautiful Friday out of Montgomery, Alabama. I love seeing the weather change for the better. Love getting a good workout in the morning. Good soak after that, too. Listening to some, good audiobook. Is that psychopathic? By the way, listening to, say, an audiobook while I'm working out?
No, that's what I do.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's how I get most of my reading is at the gym.
All right. Yeah. Craig Monger's here. Eddie Bader's here.
Good buddy.
Yeah. No, I listened to the whole Elon Musk biography, Pumping Weights, Pumping Iron. Good. I really love Stephen Fry's whole Greek treatment of the Greek mess. It's awesome to listen
his
to.
narration, it's like I could listen to him narrate a phone book.
Right.
He's just got that voice.
Yeah. So I'm in a good mood so far today. And one thing I want to do today is I want to start and stop. We add our commentary to it. But did either of you see the Brett Baer interview with the DOGE team?
No, I intentionally didn't because I knew we would probably cover it today, so I wanted to do it cold.
Well, and we'll jump into that in just a moment. I want to begin, though, with some quotes you'll hear in this interview. One of the DOGE engineers said, at Social Security, one of the things we learn, quoting him, is that they get phone calls every day of people trying to change direct deposit information. So people calling the Social Security Administration.
Okay.
We learned 40% of those calls to change direct deposit information, they get from fraudsters.
Wow.
Almost half.
Wow.
Another DOGE engineer pipes up and says there are 27 different centers at NIH with 27 different CIOs overseeing 700 plus different IT software systems.
Good Lord.
None of which communicate with each other.
Of course not.
Elon Musk also goes into, and we've heard this before, there are over 300 million of Small Business Administration loans given out to people under the age of 11. The youngest recipient of an SBA loan is a 9-month-old, which is obviously fraudulent. And they're saying, essentially, we're changing the culture. The federal government can't even pass an audit. This is the engineer overseeing Treasury. Can't even pass an audit. If this was a private business, we'd all be fired.
Yes, and in jail.
And by the way, this is so refreshing, this interview that we will get to. And that's why I think I titled the show today, DOGE is the least chaotic thing in the sound and fury of American politics right now, especially after listening to the guys actually running it. It's pretty
nerds.
It's pretty awesome. It's nerds. It's rocket engineers. I think it's the founder of Airbnb is working, quit his job to do this. And all of them, I think, are working for free, I believe.
Well, if you're the founder of Airbnb, I have a feeling you're not wanting for money.
Right. Well, and this is the idea we've heard Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick say is that we'll go talk to really talented, rich people and say, do you want to provide a service to the people and to the government? It's not about you making money. It'll be good for you and everyone if we can actually accomplish these things.
Well, at a certain point, when you just get, I don't know, billions of dollars, the money is not as important as now. I want to make sure I have a legacy. I want to be something known as something besides just the money guy, because there's a lot of those.
Right.
So, what's the next power move? Hey, here it is.
Yeah, but this week in particular with the whole Signalgate thing, which I'm just at this point, I'm like that's too cute by half that Jeffrey Goldberg ends up in there. And I'm not buying explanations right now.
Yeah,
for what exactly
Waltz is killing himself.
Yes.
As far as I'm concerned with this.
And I don't know if he's protecting himself or trying to protect a staffer because it's his staffer. Like that Laura Ingraham interview, he was clearly hiding something.
Yeah, he was hiding. Well, what he was hiding was the fact that what he said made no sense.
Yeah.
He meant to add someone else, but he added Goldberg because Goldberg's number was under someone else's contact name, which A, just doesn't happen, and B, would make you so incompetent.
I thought I was adding, it's essentially saying it's JG is the contact. I thought I was acting like Jerry Geronimo. And you know Jerry Geronimo.
Is that an actual person?
He should be. Jerry Geronimo. He works in the highest levels of the National Security Council. Jerry Geronimo, great guy. It's hard to say his name several times, too.
Yes.
Goodness gracious. By the way, RFK Jr. would be very proud of you right now.
Oh, would he? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, me. I'm methylene blue maxing.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it because you just did it on camera there. I wanted folks to know what all that blue stuff is.
Well, it's funny. This again, the following is not medical advice, and please consult a physician before pursuing anything.
Fair.
But there's actually been a lot of people that have used methylene blue to come off their SSRIs.
Wow.
Yeah. It's
incredible.
I know a guy who's I don't know him. I've interacted with him, but he's a very famous online fitness coach type guy, and he works with hundreds of clients, and he's had dozens of people that have because some it can interact with SSRIs. You can get something called serotonin syndrome, which is, if you look it up, you don't want it.
Okay.
You don't want it. So
you can't enjoy anything.
Well,
it's a miserable.
yeah, you're miserable. You can't move. You're on the bed.
Oh, okay. It's really bad.
Nauseous.
Sometimes I felt like for a second, I'm like, do I have that? But our boss just got a brand new 9-week-old puppy, and I got to hold it for a second, little French bulldog, and I'm like
it's too much
smells
love.
like a puppy. And I'm like, okay, I'm in an even better mood today.
What is it about puppies, by the way? Why do they smell like joy?
I don't know. There's something, I think it's built in.
Yeah.
It's like, I want to protect this thing.
Yeah. Yep. And when you have a baby, because you will have a baby one day, I'm going to see to it. I will turkey baster you if I need to. But once you have your own child, and I'm sure Eddie can attest to this, you realize how little you've actually loved your pets your entire life. Because you're like, if this child were hungry, I would butcher this dog and feed him to my child.
I had a conversation recently. The last time I talked to my brother was about a week ago. And
by the way, your niece is, oh my God.
And did you see her Studio Ghibli?
No, I didn't.
Oh my God. I'm pulling that up and showing
Please
that to you
do.
now. But I'm talking to my brother, and one of the dogs made a growling noise at Lucy.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, I dragged that dog by the scruff of the neck across the house, and I'm not lying to you. I would have not hesitated to end its life. And so, hearing it from my own brother, what you're describing, I'm like, yeah. Okay. And I'm not joking, Joe. I'm not exaggerating. I'm like, I hear you.
I've had to do that with our last dog before he got put down. He growled at my kid one time, and what is it from The Shining? I corrected him. And that wasn't a problem anymore. Our new dog now, Raka, he is so protective of those kids. It's bizarre.
Yeah.
It's so bizarre.
Well, and now that same dog is like Mabel. She's awesome and very protective. It was just one weird moment where it's like, okay. I think pulling on the tail or something like that.
Yeah, sometimes they like to, they forget their place in the food chain. You just got to remind them.
But you saw my niece on, I took the same photo I posted and Ghiblified it.
Oh.
It's awesome.
Oh my gosh.
You see this?
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. And I love the Ghibli trend. Folks saying, oh, it's going to ruin the movies or whatever. No, it's not. If you love those movies, the whole reason it's a trend is because people love those movies and the heart that they have. But that said, there's so much to get to. We're going to get to this DOGE interview. We have some RFK Jr. stuff that's sort of dovetails with the DOGE story, the overhaul of HHS in a Maha way that is going to be fantastic. I think the messaging on this is getting tighter. But the sound and fury of the Signalgate story, and what's strange is people aren't going after Waltz. They're going after Hegseth.
No, and that should tell you everything you need to know about where Walt sits in the establishment hierarchy. That you'll see Democrats, it's like Michael Waltz added a journalist into a discussion of national security matters in Signal, so we should get rid of Pete Hegseth. Huh?
Right. After the CIA director and the former administration are all like, Signal's fine to you.
Yeah. It's like it's almost like that time whenever 9 Saudis flew planes into our buildings and were like, yeah, we should invade Iraq.
Right.
Yeah.
So and I even hate to laugh at it, but I'd rather not do that
what
than
else are
cry.
you gonna, what are you going to do?
Right.
Right. What else are you going to do? You have to laugh, but it's preposterous.
But the Republican senators did some rally around Hegseth, and I'm very happy that both Katie Britt and Tommy Tuberville both stood up for Hegseth. So we're not getting that game from at least our two senators for the time being. There's a lot of jousting going on between Trump and Canada at the moment. This new prime minister, Carney, I don't think he's going to last long, though. Pierre Poilievre doesn't seem to be doing well in the run-up to things. J.D. Vance and his wife, Usha, just landed in Greenland. A lot of folks liking that move.
Mm-hmm.
There's an amazing clip of Ezra Klein describing to Jon Stewart the process of applying for Build Back Better grants. Jon Stewart, I can't play the clip because Jon Stewart gets so frustrated hearing what the Biden administration did, something Stewart wants to agree with. Like, yeah, we need to rebuild infrastructure in this country. I liked the bill when it was first passed. When he hears the process people had to go through and that only 3 states at this point have even gotten there, he starts losing his mind in a way where he says, OMFG. He just starts cursing. He's like, I can't believe this. And it's like, welcome to bureaucracy, sir. And it's clearly a grift. In the name of infrastructure, in the name of healthcare, in the name of doing this, that, or the other, you have so many layers of bureaucracy and so many different like you got to do an initial proposal, but the initial proposal is actually the second proposal that you give. It's convoluted. It's ridiculous. We'll get to it. It's a perfect moment, though, of people realizing, oh, wait. That doesn't, I'm a progressive, but not even that makes sense to me. Yeah, you're being taken for a ride. Locally, I know Montgomery Circuit Judge Johnny Hardwick has retired now.
Yeah, he looked rough.
Yeah, after 1 year after being allegedly stabbed and shot by his son. It's just an awful story. And I wish Judge Hardwick well. It's a pretty awful story there. Will Ainsworth was in D.C. advocating for I-65 widening. And I love that they put out DOT. I saw you and Brian Dawson, everybody, and Jeff Ford was on top of this. They put out a graphic. Eddie, we're going to widen 65 from 4 lanes to 6. Does that make sense?
When I'm stuck on it, yeah. But why?
But they made a graphic showing how it would be turned from 4 to 6, where you just slim down the median.
Oh,
and everybody's like, "Oh, thank you for this great explanation."
No.
Oh, see, we'll get to that.
I don't think I'm a fan of that.
We'll definitely get to that. Tuberville files legislation to abolish the TSA. It's a bloated agency. Bunch of Satanists up here, Joey. That was one of my favorite things he said to me. That, along with the first time I interviewed him, Jack Campbell and I were interviewing Coach when he first is running for Senate. And, I'll say this, excuse me, pardon me, if you got kids in the car and you don't want to hear a little bit of locker room talk, 3, 2, 1, go away first. Just a second. After we do the interview, good interview, he walks up to take a photo with myself and Jack, hits me on the leg. It's the Friday right before the Iron Bowl, I believe, or the week of the Iron Bowl. And he hits me on the leg and goes, what do you think this slapdick quarterback of ours is going to do? Whoa. Is he going to mess up the game? And I'm like, yes. I'm voting for that, man, just for that.
Again, Tuberville had sort of, having met him multiple times, he still doesn't remember me at first sight, but that's okay. When he's governor, he will. But
it took him a second at that 1819 gala where he blinked. He goes, Joel, great to see you. But it took him a second.
That's when you know you spent too much time around politicians, when they actually remember who you are at a glance, because they come into contact with so many people. But all I was saying was Tuberville is sort of cut from the same Trump cloth of his biggest asset. He's kind of just a bro.
Yes.
And he's really relatable. He's not a dummy, but he's also not supercilious. He's not he's not like condescending or anything.
Well, and he would never say the word supercilious, at least not in his public speech.
Yeah.
Like he kind of, no, but that's the point, is like, you use that word, I might use words like that, but Coach likes to just put it plainly.
I just used that in a tweet. That's the only reason it was at the front of brain.
Eddie, do you ever use words like that?
No.
You don't ever like to talk in cursive?
Mm-mm.
Why not?
Because I deal with folks that have a lot of financial things on the line, so they like me to keep it down where the goats can get it.
Okay.
That's smart, being everything to every man.
It's smart.
Gotta be.
That is smart. So, a lot to cover today, but I want to begin with this interview. Just a little bit of it, because it's a 30-minute long interview. So we're just going to begin, at the beginning.
Us and doing this, I know there's a lot of interest in this. First, let me start with you, Elon. What are the budgetary savings goals, and how much do you think you've achieved so far?
Our goal is to reduce the deficit by $1 trillion. From a nominal deficit of $2 trillion to try to cut the deficit in half to $1 trillion, or looked at it in total federal spending to drop the federal spending from $7 trillion to $6 trillion. We want to reduce the spending by eliminating waste and fraud, reduce the spending by 15%, which seems really quite achievable. The government is not efficient, and there's a lot of waste and fraud. So we feel confident that a 15% reduction can be done without affecting any of the critical government services.
I'm going to talk to all the guys.
If not making it better.
I'm going to talk to all the guys here about the specifics. But for you, what's the most astonishing thing you've found out in this process?
Listen to this one.
The sheer amount of waste and fraud in the government. It is astonishing. It's mind-blowing. We routinely encounter wastes of $1 billion or more, casually.
Wow.
For example, like the simple survey that was literally a 10-question survey that you could do with SurveyMonkey, cost you about $10,000. The government was being charged almost $1 billion for that.
For just the survey?
$1 billion for a simple online survey. Do you like the national park? And then there appeared to be no feedback loop for what would be done with that survey. So the survey would just go into nothing. It was like insane.
You technically are a special government employee, and you're supposed to be 130 days. Are you going to continue past that, or do you think that's what you're going to do? Or?
Well, I think we will have accomplished most of the work required to reduce the deficit by $1 trillion within that time frame.
So in that time frame, 130 days. And the process is a report at some point at 100 days? Or?
Not really a report. We are cutting the waste and fraud in real time. So every day that passes, our goal is to reduce the waste and fraud by $4 billion a day, every day, 7 days a week. And so far we are succeeding.
And you're like, how could that even be possible? When I first heard him put those numbers out, but then you hear something like a $10,000 survey is costing the government $1 billion a year. What?
Well, for information they don't care anyway. They're not even looking at that information.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they go on. The guy who actually uncovered it at the Department of Interior said, it's like we do the survey and then it just goes into like a black hole and it's not even used.
Yep.
And so they keep, as he points out, they're finding this stuff casually. They're finding it just as like, oh, what the heck is this? We went over earlier this week the consulting contract. Insane consulting. Oh, there's the puppy.
This is really hard.
To do a show and have a puppy just staring
not to just run off. If
a sleepy puppy,
it's just really hard not to just run to the puppy.
Doge.
It's really hard not.
We're talking Doge, and we're looking at a Doge, a baby Doge.
It's the cutest little puppy,
and it's sleepy right now. So it's like,
yeah, she's gonna begin. How old did you say this puppy is?
Like 9-10 weeks, I think. Like 2 days away from its mother. Yeah. Yeah. And like holding it, you're like, okay, this is a precious,
cutest little puppy.
Precious thing.
Okay, I gotta go.
Okay, go do that. See how this is?
Yeah,
Greg?
I do.
Like he can't even. How about this? Let's go to Clark real quick. Hey, Clark, how you doing today?
Clark. Yes, sir. How are you, sir?
I'm great.
Great's a good way to be.
Eddie just brought in the puppy and he's cuddling with it right now.
Gosh, that is so cute.
Well, 3-hour drive, bring it to see me. I'll get you fixed up.
Yes, sir.
So anyway, on Goldberg being accidentally adding to the list there, you got to keep thinking about Humphrey Bogart and Casablanca. Of all the gin joints in all the world, why'd she have to walk into mine?
Great movie.
What are the odds of him accidentally being added? That wasn't an accident. That wasn't on purpose. Now, maybe it was somebody in Walsh's office. Everybody's talking about Alex Long right now. Maybe it was him. We do know that during the Biden administration, directives were given that if you needed to do secure mobile communications, use the Signal app.
Right.
And we also know that when Tucker Carlson went to Russia, the CIA had to monitor his Signal stuff for his own safety. So we know that the CIA has the capability of that.
Sure.
You kind of got to wonder who did add that number to the thread there. Was it somebody in Walsh's office? Was it the CIA? They're after Hegseth. Well, they've been after him from Jump Street. He's a big threat. They don't like him. Whenever you're over the targets, when you're catching flack, right?
Absolutely.
He's catching a lot of flack. Walsh, he's not so much of a big deal. If you read the conservative treehouse, Sundance said that he'd be the first one out, and that was some time ago. She wasn't a fan of his. And then the other thing, you kind of got to wonder if this was not a deliberate deal to expose a mole to make an example out of him. And I don't know, that might be a little bit of a stretch. But you got to allow for that possibility, don't you?
I think so. And what's unnerving to me is it's not exactly clear what happened. And then how all the fire is on Hegseth and not Waltz is also another tell. And Jeffrey Goldberg himself being the person selected. So, it's too knit together. I don't like it.
Oh, it's very convenient, all of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, when did Goldberg overhear the conversation, and when did he release his article? Almost 2 weeks, right?
Right.
A lot of time to plan there. And when was it released? The eve of the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence.
Yep.
On the eve. And boy, they seemed well prepared with their questions, didn't they?
They sure did.
Yeah, but here's the thing about that. You ever watch the Bugs Bunny Roadrunner Hour?
Sure.
Every time the coyote sent off to Acme, explosives ended up going off in his face, a rock flipped over on him, or he fell off a cliff. Every time the Democrats make an Acme order, it seems to have gone that way as long as Donald Trump's been Donald Trump for us. I don't know. You know, Mopar paid Warner Brothers to use the beep beep for the Roadrunner back in the 70s, late 60s. How much would Donald Trump have to pay Warner Brothers so he could stand at a podium and go beep beep?
I don't think a daggum thing. Beep
You think
beep.
he could just get away with that?
Well, he's already doing the beep bop boop and you go pew and like he already makes sound effects, so I think he's got it.
Well, he needs to throw that one in then. Hey, I appreciate what y'all do. Keep doing it.
Thank you, Clark.
Thank you, Clark. I'm a big fan of your bars, by the way.
Clark bars? You like Clark bars?
I don't hate Clark bars.
I'm learning something new.
The Clark bar.
Yeah, exactly. What's wrong with the Clark bar?
I don't even know what's wrong with this. I don't think I've ever had one. And thus they're gross.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's like a Snickers but different, you know?
Kind of reminds me of a Butterfinger, but it's got 2 nuts on the top.
You know what? It is the
pecans.
consistency of a Snickers with the taste of a Butterfinger. That is the best description.
You're gonna have to get that puppy out of here.
Yeah.
It's too adorable.
It's just the cutest thing in the world.
Like I don't want to do anything right now.
It's got cute puppy breath.
So 272-9228.
Whose puppy is that, by the way?
Rick's.
Oh,
Brand new one.
He got a new one?
Yeah. Oh, he loves Frenchies, and I see why.
I can too. They snore loud, but gosh, are they adorable. My dog snores loud though too. So
yeah, I gotta get one soon. I like those Bernese mountain dogs.
Oh yeah,
they're adorable. Big dogs though.
Yeah, I got a half Mastiff, half Australian Shepherd. He's pretty big. So
yeah,
he's
you got the land though and stuff.
Yeah,
so
that's I live out there in the middle of nowhere, so he can kind of roam wherever he
the
wants.
worst is somebody gets a Great Dane and lives in like an apartment.
Oh
yeah, it's like, no, you got a big dog. You need some room for them to stretch out.
If I was in an apartment, I'd be a Yorkie guy all the way.
Oh, the worst was a guy living with us got a rescue greyhound.
Oh man,
that dog was I love dogs. You saw my reaction to the pup. I love dogs. That dog was a hellhound. It got into everything. It should have been on multiple acres where it could just run. I'm talking about this guy brought over. He was living with us for a few months. Supposed to be on the couch for a little while. Then he got a greyhound.
Oh, good Lord.
And that thing, it was tall enough to get anything in the kitchen.
Yeah.
We had a big, big commercial style, trash can for 4 or 5 guys living in the house. It would just knock that thing over and and it was mean too. It wasn't like a nice dog to people. I'm like, why did you get this?
How did he
thing?
get the greyhound?
It was a rescue.
Which
is a noble thing. But
yeah, my sister had one. It takes a little while to get them kind of used to people again. My sister had to do that for a while. Cute dog though.
How do you become a rescue greyhound? Aren't they like
When
exotic animals?
No, when they're done with them at the track, they kind of got a whole rescue thing for them.
No, and he also left a snake there that he bought, but then he left the snake there, and Jersey is what we'd call him because he was from Jersey.
Yeah.
And like when he was staying on the couch, I could wake up in the morning, I'd hear him go, Sean, my other roommate, Sean, are these your clothes in the dryer? Sean, me and my cousin Donnie, we're gonna go to Bed Bath & Beyond. We're gonna get a George Foreman grill to cook our healthy meats. We're trying to work out, get slim.
How do you end up leaving the snake? You just abandon the snake?
Why is your Jersey guy from Boston, by the way? That's what I want to know.
I don't know. That's what he sounded like.
You know, he took a cow down by the harbor.
Sean!
I could fit all that I own in a cardboard box.
Anyway, how about this? Let's hit a break. We're going to keep going with the DOGE thing here because that's just the beginning. This is sort of like Elon. We've heard this before, but that number of saving $4 billion a day seemed ridiculous. And then you're hearing the stuff they're laying out and that they're meeting the goal and that they're not waiting. It's like just find $4 billion every day is, I think, a fantastic way of going about it.
Sure, why not?
Instead of trying to come up with some big plan that you do all one fell. No, just do it one day at a time. A reasonable goal.
Yep.
This part of the program brought to you by Smokehouse Pit Barbecue. You know, when you go by Smokehouse Pit Barbecue, I want y'all to know they have the original recipes back.
That's right, Joe.
And those original recipes made Smokehouse famous for a reason. They're just that good. Of course, they do a breakfast Tuesday through Sunday that is to die for. The cheese grits, I will never shut up about their cheese grits. Their cheese grits are amazing. Or maybe you're a French toast and pancakes sort of person, or a breakfast burrito, or big old omelet, or steak and eggs. That's a man's breakfast.
That is a
right
man's
there.
breakfast.
And of course, if you're looking for lunch, dinner, great barbecue options, whether you're looking at ribs or pulled pork sandwiches, barbecue turkey breast, pulled chicken, you can get a sampler for only about, I think, $18.99, which is pretty great.
Well, that's pretty good.
And of course, they got all those sides with those fixins. And what, you're a mac and cheese guy?
I'm mac and cheese.
Today, I think I'd go crazy and go with some fried green tomatoes.
In fact, I'm eyeballing this potato with barbecue on it. And I can imagine topping it with some nice mac and cheese as well.
So, folks, y'all got to get by there. Again, they're back to the original recipes at Smokehouse Pit Barbecue. Same location they've always been, Main Street there in Millbrook. And be sure to tell them that Joey and Eddie, those fellas on the radio, sent you. We'll be right back.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
For reliable electrical services in Central Alabama, trust the experts at Crosby Electric. Crosby's licensed and insured electricians are ready to tackle any project for your home, from troubleshooting, repairs, to installing new lighting and preventive maintenance. And Crosby understands the need for quality service for small business. Crosby is big enough for the largest job, yet small enough to bring real value. Visit CrosbyElectric.com to schedule your service. Crosby, powering Central Alabama with excellence.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
Get ready for CAFCO's Spring Open House Weekend, Thursday, April 2nd through Saturday, April 5th. Shop our exciting Easter decor, gift items, silk florals, and much more. Enjoy refreshments, register for door prizes, and shop our daily deals. Saturday, April 5th at 10:30, join Karen Gresham from Crafty Creations Wreath Shop for a designer demo. And enjoy music by Brian Brantley, noon till 3. Shop CAFCO's Spring Open House for huge savings on our already low outlet pricing, April 2nd through the 5th on the Wetumpka Highway.
Montgomery Men's Health exists for guys who get it done. Let's talk, fellas. You solve problems all day at work. You fix your sink when it's broken, but when it comes to ED and low T, it doesn't get done.
We get it. You hate going to the doctor, but you're the guy that fixes things. At Montgomery Men's Health, there's nothing to fear and no reason to delay. We've been destroying bedroom boredom for years. Our friendly, discreet team of medical providers will take the time to listen. So if you haven't fixed this, call us. When the pills fail, call us. If you feel like you've tried everything, call us. Here, there's hope. From the conventional to the next level. Imagine finally taking care of this with no surgery. Imagine going from feeling gray to living life in vibrant color. It's time to be confident. Join the thousands of guys who have found success after walking through our doors. Will you be one of them? Dial 334-440-3663 or go to MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com to schedule a $99 male performance consultation, including blood work. Do it for you. Do it for her. MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com. Book your appointment now.
Hi, I'm Allison Chandley, account executive with Blue Water Broadcasting. Why should you advertise with us? Did you know that more Americans listen to the radio than use Facebook each week? Did you know that 77% of listeners would try a brand or product endorsed by their favorite radio personality? Contact me, Allison Chandley, by going to bluewaterbroadcasting.com to find out more. Blue Water Broadcasting, local folks helping local business.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason. A newly released economic barometer closely watched by the Fed shows inflation remained elevated last month, but consumer spending recovered a bit from January. The Commerce Department says consumer prices rose 2.5% in February from a year earlier, matching January's annual pace. Inflation remains a top-of-mind issue for most Americans, even as it has fallen sharply from its 2022 peak. Among the early movers on Wall Street, shares of athletic wear maker Lululemon skidded close to 12% in pre-market trading after it issued guidance that did not meet analyst expectations. Another clothing retailer, Oxford Industries, also tumbled 12% before the bell. A lower open this morning for Wall Street following release of that inflation report. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason.
Rich Thomas weather brought to you by Clark Heating, Air and Plumbing.
Hey, this is Robbie Clark. Spring is almost here. Stay cool with a spring tune-up with Clark Heating, Air and Plumbing. Don't wait. Schedule today. Give us a call at 334-277-2125. Alabama certification number 09098.
Rich Thomas weather.
Well, hi, everybody. We're still running way below normal today, but temperatures will warm up over the weekend. Today's high up to about 66, plenty of sun. Not as windy as yesterday. Mostly clear, but not quite as cold tonight. Overnight low 40. The warming trend begins tomorrow with Saturday's high up to about 76. I think we'll be near 80 on Sunday. Plenty of weekends sunshine for here and the Gulf Coast beaches. A little cooler on the beach with highs in the 60s. And the risk for showers and thunderstorms becomes likely by Sunday night. Some of the storms could be strong. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
You can make your ASC loan payments from your phone anytime, anywhere. It's quick and easy. www.yourasccu.com. Federally insured by NCUA.
ASD Credit Union. Your life, your cause, your ASD.
The River Region's first and only news talk station on FM. Live, local talk. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Man, it's a good day today.
Birds are chirping.
Yeah.
You know, the puppies are puppying. The sun is shining.
Yeah, we got puppies. Like I've started taking Epsom salt baths on a more regular basis. It's a good move.
It is. It's really relaxing, but your body, like, you really have to scrub a dub after you get one of those because your skin texture gets all weird.
Yes, you still take a shower.
Well, when I remember whenever I was getting ready for the Navy, their weight requirements were R-worded. And so even though I was completely emaciated, I was still 20 pounds above the weight limit.
So they weren't doing BMI?
They were just doing the net. They weigh you based on your height, and then they tape and measure your neck and waist. And it's a silly thing, but especially for my height. So anyway, I get done and I get towards the end and I realize, I'm still like 18, 19 pounds over. And so I filled up a tub with Epsom salt, rubbing alcohol, and really, really hot water. And if you do that, boy, the sweat will just suck right out of you.
Yeah, daggum.
Yeah.
So
I was just trying to relax a little bit.
That's the last time I took an Epsom salt bath, was to cut weight, and it's an old wrestler trick where I would go from that. Then I went to the gym, threw on a sauna suit, which is essentially just a suit made out of trash bags, and just walked on the treadmill for hours.
So
it was miserable.
Let's go back to the DOGE interview. I actually think Brett Baer did a great job with this, and
he's really he's my favorite guy at Fox News, which isn't saying much. But
right, I think Will Cain might be up there for me. I've been watching that guy since he was with Glenn Beck at the Blaze, and like seeing a young dude like doing that well now, and I think Will Cain's pretty top-notch.
He's not bad. He's not bad.
Much better than Neil Cavuto, who he replaced.
Yeah.
Now the conversation continues, and again, it's an interview, folks. If you didn't see it, where it's Musk being interviewed, but it's like 8 other folks that are all running different departments for DOGE.
And I'm going to talk to the specifics, but there obviously are DOGE critics who are reading all kinds of stuff. Obviously, lawmakers on the other side of the aisle are attacking you, and they characterize the approach as this: fire, ready, and then aim. And how do you approach that? How do you respond to that?
Well, I do agree that we actually want to be careful in the cuts. So we want to measure twice, if not thrice, and cut once. Actually, that is our approach. They may characterize it as shooting from the hip, but it is anything but that. Which is not to say that we don't make mistakes. If we were to approach this with the standard of making no mistakes at all, that would be like saying someone in baseball's got to bat 1,000.
Now, I was willing to defend the wrecking ball, the chainsaw, the Javier Milei approach, but I think it was Joe Reed who was in here, our Democrat friend. He's just a friend, honestly. He said, yeah, you measure twice, cut once. I'm like, that sounds like what Elon and the team are all about at this point. And honestly, I think there is a bit of the exuberance and excitement out of the election. The honeymoon's faded off.
Oh, sure.
And so I think the messaging by DOGE here has shifted, and I think it's shifted in a beautiful direction. Everybody's starting to understand, okay, here's exactly what we're doing. It's not just, we're hitting the ground running and we're so excited. It's like, no, we're in the thick of this now, and we're going to be adults about it. Let's keep going with this.
That's impossible. So when we do make mistakes, we correct them quickly, and we move on.
Some people say this shouldn't take a rocket scientist. Steve Davis, you are a rocket scientist.
Used to be.
Yeah, and now essentially you're the chief operating officer of DOGE, day-to-day operations. Fair to say?
Yeah, part of the DOGE team.
So how did you end up here? What's the biggest challenge you see?
The reason I'm here, which is probably for many, is that I think the goal is incredibly inspiring. I think most of the taxpayers in the country would agree that in order to have the country going bankrupt would be a very bad thing, and therefore the country going not bankrupt is a good thing. That all of us are willing to kind of put our lives on hold in order to do. I think the thing that's special right now is we actually believe there's a chance to succeed, that there's an administration that's supportive and a great cabinet and just a great group that will actually make success a possible outcome. And I think that's, given the inspiring mission and given the non-zero chance of success, it was worth doing.
I'd just like to sort of reemphasize that point. The success of DOGE is only possible with President Trump and with the outstanding cabinet that he selected. It would be impossible without the support of the president and the cabinet.
But you're finding the money. I mean, it's big numbers, right?
Yeah, like Elon said, the minimum impulse bid is often $1 billion. So for example, the $830 million, which was the online survey, that's an enormous amount of money. That wouldn't have been found if the DOGE team wasn't working with it, in that case, the Department of Interior. But then taking it one step further, DOGE then publishes these things on our website for maximum transparency. So now the general public, it would have been impossible for the general public to have seen that. Now anyone can just log into doge.gov anytime and see these payments. As they're not yet in real time, they're close, but they'll probably be in real time within the next few weeks.
But the process, it still involves Congress, right? At some level?
We try to keep Congress as informed as possible, but the law does say that money needs to be spent correctly. It should not be spent fraudulently or wastefully. It's not.
And that point needs to be underlined. I'd imagine as sort of a throwaway in most of these laws and appropriations that are passed, you have some clause like that, that we have to account for waste or fraud and these massive multi-billion dollar, trillions of dollars being appropriated. And so, you need Congress to do certain things. You're probably going to need Congress to do. And that's where the conversation about rescission will come up a little later. I think that's great. Even Lindsey Graham's on board. But when you look at just like the outright abuse of these programs, the outright abuse of these appropriations, it's not like, we're spending too much on a thing that's working well. No, we're spending too much on a thing that isn't even doing the thing. It's not even getting you from point A to point B. And in fact, it's enriching everybody, all these toll keepers on the way to your destination. Again, and we'll get to that conversation, Jon Stewart, completely amazed. I was a bit amazed at how the Biden administration's own Build Back Better programs are clearly not about actually building infrastructure, but by taking a big old rake and raking all that money into all these bureaucrats and nonprofits and all the grant folks.
That's it, man.
It is layers upon layers of administration, of bureaucrats. You see it in education sector. RFK Jr. we'll get to a little later, saying you're seeing it massively in the healthcare sector, where you're seeing less doctors, less teachers, less actual, say contractors building things that the government once built. And you're instead seeing a lot of bureaucrats who process all these things. And they take the vast amount of the money being pushed out there. Let's keep going for a second.
Not contrary to Congress to avoid waste and fraud. It is consistent with the law and consistent with Congress. And we've seen actually great support, at least from the Republican side of the House, and occasionally some Democrats too. It's nice to see people cross the aisle once in a while. Usually when they attack DOGE, they never attack any of the specifics. So they'll say what we're doing is somehow unconstitutional or illegal or whatever. We're like, well, which line of the cost savings do you disagree with? And they can't point to any. And we list them all on doge.gov and the DOGE handle on X. And you'll see just outrageous things, one outrageous thing after another.
Joe Gabbia, besides Elon, you're one of several billionaires here, co-founder of Airbnb. And you wanted to help out.
I bumped into Anthony and Elon probably back in February, and they told me something about a mine that was dealt with retirement, and they said they needed somebody to help out to fix retirement in the government. I love the challenge, so I jumped on board, and it turns out there is actually a mine in Pennsylvania that houses every paper document for the retirement process in the government. Now picture this. This giant cave has 22,000 filing cabinets stacked 10 high to house 400 million pieces of paper. It's a process that started in the 1950s and largely hasn't changed in the last 70 years. And so as he dug into it, we found retirement cases that had so much paper, they had to fit it on a shipping pallet. So the process takes many months, and we're going to make it just many days.
Will it be digitized or how?
Absolutely. So this will be an online digital process that will take just a few days at most. And I really think, it's an injustice to civil servants who are subjected to these processes that are older than the age of half the people watching your show tonight.
Wow.
So we really believe that the government can have an Apple Store-like experience, beautifully designed, great user experience, modern systems.
Because right now it's by hand.
Yes, the retirement process is all by paper, literally with people carrying paper in manila envelopes into this gigantic mine.
So they can't retire more than a certain number every month.
Yes.
About 8,000 a month.
That's how the reason we discovered it was we were saying like, well, let's encourage voluntary retirement. They said, well, the most they could do is 8,000 a month. And even under normal circumstances, it can take 6 to 9 months just to have your retirement paperwork processed. And they often get the calculations wrong. So we're like, well, why would it take so long to retire? And they're like, well, because of the mine. We're like, what do you mean a mine? What's a mine got to do with retiring? And that's where we discovered that all the retirement stuff is still done by paper in a process that looks identical to what occurred in the 1950s. Like if we took a snapshot of the mine when it first started in the 50s to today, it looks the same.
It's amazing. So how long do you think it'll take to turn over?
We're working as fast as we can. Probably next couple of months we'll have this overhauled. And I really think again, like, why are we subjecting our federal workers to processes that they actually have to go through a training just to retire from the government? There's a whole training program that people have to go through in order to retire. I think we can do better for them.
Aram Moganasi, DOGE engineer. You go into these places, one of the more than a dozen engineers, first people to go into the agencies and view the computer data sets. Tell me what you're finding, and for people who don't understand how that process works, explain it for them.
Yeah, I'll say the first thing that got me really excited about DOGE was learning basically the state of government computers. By some estimates, government IT costs about $100 billion, and it's funding systems that are over 50 years old, in the case of something like Social Security or the IRS. So really critical systems are old. They cost a lot of money to maintain, and they can be, the efforts to improve them are often very delayed. So I thought, I'm a software engineer that maybe can make a difference here, and that's really what inspired me at a high level.
There's a lot of mystery about Social Security and a lot of words about it here's what Democrats have been saying about it.
It's absurd that Elon Musk is trying to eliminate billions of dollars from Social Security.
Elon Musk and President Trump have set their sights on cutting Social Security.
Liars!
Their goal is clear. Destroy Social Security from within.
What a schmuck you are, Chuck.
The building. I mean, you're in the computers. What's happening there? What are you doing?
Yeah, it doesn't line up with my experience on the ground. And I'll say the two improvements that we're trying to make to Social Security are helping people that legitimately get benefits, protect them from fraud.
Yes.
That they experience every day on a routine basis, and also make the experience better. And I'll give you one example is at Social Security, one of the first things we learned is that they get phone calls every day of people trying to change direct deposit information. So when you want to change your bank account, you can call Social Security. We learned 40% of the phone calls that they get are from fraudsters.
40%?
That's right. Almost half.
Yes, and they steal people's Social Security is what happens. Is they call in, they say they claim to be a retiree, then they convince the Social Security person on the phone to change where the money's flowing. It actually goes to some fraudster. This is happening all day, every day, and then somebody doesn't receive their Social Security. It's because of all the fraud loopholes in the Social Security system.
How do you reassure people that what you all are doing is not going to affect their benefits?
No, in fact, what we're doing will help their benefits. Legitimate people, as a result of the work of DOGE, will receive more Social Security, not less. I want to emphasize that. As a result of the work of DOGE, legitimate recipients of Social Security will receive more money, not less money.
All right.
I want to emphasize that point and let the record show that I said this, and it will be proven out to be true. Let's check back on this in the future.
So Washington.
I love it. I think this is right. This is the right approach. And again, I think we're coming down from the exuberant, let's say, high of the honeymoon period.
Getting the work done.
And instead, we're now hearing the actual voices. And these are all very impressive people, very successful people that don't need to do this. They were making plenty of money. They knew exactly, the profession they're working in. And from software engineers to rocket engineers to other billionaire founders of major companies, almost every American has probably used. And that's what's crazy to me is that it gets lost in the sound and fury in people, trying to scare old people about their Social Security and Medicare. Is these systems are antiquated. These systems would not be acceptable in any business, big or a small business. Like, this is not how the thing should be done. And so you're like, this seemed absurd when they first said, we're going to cut $1 trillion. I think more and more I hear, the more I think this is very doable. In fact, they'll probably find more than $1 trillion.
I guess they'll find more.
Inefficiencies. This part of the program brought to you by Invista Advisors, and they're in Invista Advisors, Austin Baranco and the entire team. Of course, you've also heard Brant McDonald on these airwaves. They're ready to help you plan out your financial future. Could be, just start up a family. You want to get life insurance. You want to kind of just get everything together so you can plan the future for your kids' college or any sort of opportunities you want to give to the next generation. It could be you own a small business and you want to be able to set yourself up to where down the road you might want to sell it.
Right.
Or it could be end of life concerns like, a will and, long-term health care and these sorts of things. Like, of course, also a strategy when it comes to stocks and investments. But the main thrust of it is not any one of those particular things. The main thrust of it is getting to know you, your needs, and what you need to build and plan a financial future for yourself and for those you love and care about and who rely on you. It all starts with a conversation. Just call up Invista Advisors at 387-0094. That's 387-0094. And be sure to tell them that, hey, that Joey Clark guy on the radio sent you. Again, 272-9228. Let's take a call here and go to Has-Been. Hey, Has-Been, how you doing?
Hey, good. Hey, the finer gentleman there with you, he had me chuckle when he was talking about the Navy PT. I was an Air Force technician, Air Reserve technician. So I lived through those hard days. I was never a small boy. And many times before UTA, I'd wrap up, first slather down with preparation H on the belly, and then wrap saran wrap layers and sleep with that during the night just to shave off an inch or two. To get you through the next PT test. It was like the witch hunts back in those days. I saw a lot of good people leave because of it. And I also retired. I was an Air Reserve technician, so I was the civil service / military. So when I retired, you had to hand do all your retirement paperwork, which in my case was civil service and military. And I'm telling you, they are not kidding. It is a cluster of a cluster to retire civil service. It's ridiculous. And they tell you when you retire, expect 6 months before you get your first check.
Wow.
That's just crazy.
And and this is the thing is like there isn't the actual service there. And that's what's so frustrating about the usual suspects defending the status quo. They use stuff that's emotional. They really play on people's feelings and concerns, but they completely ignore things that are hurting the very folks working for the government. So it's not let alone the population.
Yeah. My motto is don't cut to the bone, cut through the bone.
Here. Well, I appreciate it, Has-Been.
Thanks, guys.
See you, man.
Yeah, my grandfather has stories from Air Force days having to meet weight, and he never had that issue. He did perfect. He got a perfect score in his first PT test. It does it well again the next time. They dock him and give him like an 80 something. He's like, why? They're like, well, you didn't improve. It's like, well, how can I improve from? Like I was already at the top. It's stuff like that. And another one was he never had a problem making weight, but there's one colleague of his who was like just ripped, like big, vascular, as Vince McMahon might say. And they kept saying, you're overweight, you're overweight. The guy got so frustrated in the doctor's room where they're weighing him. He rips off his shirt, flexes, you're telling me I'm out of shape? And they actually gave him an exception. I think this is like 70s.
Yeah, that is the problem, is that the whole BMI thing it works against you if you're sort of heavily muscled.
Yeah.
So poor old me.
And some military operations don't probably want to be heavily muscled. Like if you look at, say, the Navy SEALs, often those guys are a little more small.
Yeah, and they expect, well, a lot of them, they'll show up heavily muscled, and then by the end of it, they're not so, because they just beat you down.
Now they know how to kill you with their thumb.
Yeah.
Like don't underestimate them. But it's interesting when you go, who's the real, badass in the room? It's not always the guy who's just like built.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
Oh, sometimes the guys who are built know what to do too.
You're giving away the secret.
How about this? Let's hit our top of the hour break. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. On Wall Street, stocks are falling following discouraging updates on inflation and how much U.S. households may be willing to spend. All three major indexes are deep in the red. Utah has become the first state to ban fluoride in public drinking water, despite widespread opposition from dentists and national health organizations. Republican Governor Spencer Cox signed legislation late Thursday that bars cities and communities from deciding whether to add the mineral to their water systems. Other states are deciding the same thing. South Texas trying to dry out after severe thunderstorms flooded streets, and authorities there conducting more than 50 water rescues. The Dow 765 points in the red, the NASDAQ off 493. This is SRN News.
Financing a home, especially in today's market, is one of the biggest decisions you'll make for your family. Work with a mortgage company that puts you first. I do. Work with a lender founded on biblical principles like do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. I do. It's Mike Gallagher for the only mortgage company I've used for almost a decade now when financing or refinancing Fellowship Home Loans. I'm friends with the owners, Mike and Brian. I even have them on my show occasionally. I know the care their team puts into every single customer. I can personally tell you that it's a smooth, stress-free process, and that's due to Fellowship's level of service and expertise that puts you in the right loan for your family and your goals. There's a reason Fellowship Home Loans is flooded with 5-star reviews. Whether purchasing a home or a cash-out refi to consolidate some higher interest debt, you can trust Fellowship Home Loans. Start the process. Make the call. 800-510-MIKE, 800-510-MIKE, 800-510-6453. Fellowship Home Loans, mortgage lending by the book.
Nationwide Mortgage Bankers, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 819382.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of H&H Carpets across from Walmart on the Atlanta Highway, where right now you can get 1,050 square feet of carpet installed for $19.95 only at H&H Carpets in Montgomery.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. We're still running way below normal today, but temperatures will warm up over the weekend. Today's high up to about 66, plenty of sun. Not as windy as yesterday. Mostly clear, but not quite as cold tonight. Overnight low 40. The warming trend begins tomorrow with Saturday's high up to about 76. I think we'll be near 80 on Sunday. Plenty of weekends sunshine for here and the Gulf Coast beaches. A little cooler on the beach with highs in the 60s. And the risk for showers and thunderstorms becomes likely by Sunday night. Some of the storms could be strong. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, here's today's top stories. A Montgomery woman who previously pleaded guilty to defrauding the federal government of nearly $1 million in COVID-19 relief funds was sentenced on Thursday. 39-year-old Demetria Dantzler was ordered to serve 1 month in prison and a year of weekends in jail. Dantzler must also pay back more than $927,000 she received in COVID grant funds that she was not entitled to. A whistleblower complaint has been filed with the Alabama 911 Board alleging mismanagement of the 911 call center by the city of Montgomery. The whistleblower states the city's negligence has led to horrible employee apathy and retention problems, as well as call answer times which are dangerously below normal standards. The city of Montgomery has launched a newly updated online platform designed to provide the public with access to city information and enhance transparency. Companies considering Montgomery for business expansion can also access population details, economic trends, and other information through the Open Data portal. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Don't you love the feeling of coming home to a clean house? Let Southern Bell's cleaning service get your home in order. Families in the River region trust Southern Bell's because they know Callan and Jesse will show up on time and believe in cleaning the old-fashioned way. They bring all their own supplies and specialize in full-service, residential, commercial, vacant properties, and construction cleanup. Estimates are always free. Call Southern Bells today at 546-0715 or follow them on Facebook at Southern Bells Cleaning River Region.
David Little from Tucker Pecan is with us. Warmer weather is here, and a lot of outdoor activity is going to be taking place, and you've got them covered.
Yeah, man, we've got all kind of great stuff for the lake, the beach. You know, we've always had the towels. We've got the Turkish beach towels just came in. We've got all your sauces, your seasonings, all the things that make lake, beach, river time great, or just sitting by the pool. We've got all those great items, but what we've got now is we've got casseroles. We've got dips. We've got a Vidalia onion dip that will jump up and bite you. It's so good. Hey, if you're you're at the lake and you have friends coming in for the weekend, we have 2 wonderful casseroles. We have a breakfast casserole, which is called Kiss My Grits, and we've got a hash brown casserole that is absolutely amazing. And we even have chicken salad. You know, during the summer, everybody's talking about, well, I need to eat chicken salad. I need to eat this. We got buffalo chicken salad and regular chicken salad, all those great things. We got pimento cheese. Come see us at Tucker Pecan. We're located at 1935 Mulberry Street or 132 Company Street in downtown Wetumpka. Check us out on the web at tuckerpecan.com or call us at 262-4470 or like us on Facebook.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's Conversational Radio Show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Welcome back. Second hour of the program here. If you're listening in Radio Land, you can always check us out online and watch the whole show. Maybe you just caught a segment you found interesting, had to hop out of the car. Well, you can always go to Joey Clark Live on YouTube or at the Joey Clark on X. And of course, you can also watch on the Book of Faces. Craig Monger should be rejoining us in just a moment. Eddie Bader's still in here. And so far, I think it's a pretty good day, Eddie.
Yeah?
So far.
Beautiful outside. I know that.
It really is nice.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's not summer hot here yet.
No, still got a little bit of that pine pollen action going around, but
that messing with you?
Yeah, pretty heavy. Yeah.
Hadn't got me yet this year.
Yeah, towards the end here, it's getting pretty bad. I'm going to pressure wash the house tomorrow, so I'm going to be probably miserable all weekend. Just be swimming in it.
Oh, good luck.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Before we hop back into this DOGE interview, which Brett Baer really did a great job with this.
I hear more and more people, by the way, hollering, I want the DOGE.
DOGE.
Different places, different states, different organizations. I think we need to DOGE this. I'm like, I enjoy that catching on.
Yeah. No, I think it's a good mentality.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's not always easy to execute. This is what's so impressive about this team they've put together is like these are very successful, high-level folks in the business world, in, I'd say, positions that are very science-based, very analytical, and to see them actually bring that expertise, what's made them so successful, and going, like the shock you can hear in most of these folks going like, what in the world? How crazy some of this stuff
I'm
is.
glad it's just not me that's blown away by some of the way the money's being spent.
Oh, yeah. And even like there's a lot of stuff they're finding. And like if you present it to a Democrat, you're like, really? You agree with this?
That's the thing. I haven't heard very many of them argue back about anything specific. In general, they hate the whole thing. But then when you hit them with the specifics, well,
it's also because they continue to rely on corporate media, the old legacy press. Like the Washington Post, and that's what Brett Baer is about to get to, where he cites a headline from the Washington Post about how the Social Security website is down, how the Social Security website is breaking down, crashes. It crashed 4 times in 10 days. And the Washington Post, of course, tries to pin that on DOGE, but let's actually listen to the conversation here.
Post. The Social Security Administration website crashed 4 times in 10 days this month because the servers were overloaded, blocking millions of retirees and disabled veterans from logging into their online accounts. Freaked people out. Is that going to change?
Yes, we're going to make sure that the website stays online.
Yeah. I mean, but is it a result of going in there or something you're doing?
No. The amount of issues that or the Social Security system are enormous. As an example, there are over 15 million people that are over the age of 120 that are marked as alive in the Social Security system.
And that's an accurate figure.
Yeah, correct.
15 million.
Correct. This has been something that's been identified as a problem. Again, pre-existing problems since 2008, at least, from an IG report. So there were some great people working at the Social Security Administration that found this 2008, and nothing was done. And so 15 to 20 million Social Security numbers that were clearly fraudulent were floating around that can be used only for bad intentions. There'd be no way to use those for good intentions. And so one of the things the DOGE team is doing is carefully and very methodically looking at those and making sure that any fraudulent ones are eliminated.
Brad Smith, working at HHS, and obviously another element is Medicare and Medicaid, NIH. What are you finding?
Yeah. Well, I'd say there's a couple things we're really committed to in our work at HHS. Number one, making sure we continue to have the best biomedical research in the world. And number two, making sure, which President Trump has said over and over again, that we 100% protect Medicare and Medicaid. But there's a lot of opportunity. So if I take NIH as an example, today, if you're an NIH researcher and you get a $100 grant at your university, today you get to spend 60 of that and your university spends 40 of that.
Wow.
The policy that we're proposing to make is that you get to spend 85 of that and your university spends 15. So that's more money going directly to the scientists who are discovering new cures.
Now, and this is a basic standard in a lot of the world. Like, if there's always going to be some overhead administrative costs. Sure. But get it to a standard of 15%, not 40%.
Even that seems kind of high. You're charging me 15% to give you money.
Fair. Maybe we can get it even lower.
It should be a lot lower.
Let's just say,
because look at the amount.
15% is a heck of a lot better than 40%.
Oh, certainly. But look at the amounts. It's not like it's a couple $1,000s, Joey. It's multi-million dollars. So 15% is still a good cut.
You know, Callie Means, the brother of the brother-sister duo of Casey and Callie Means. Hard to remember which one's the brother and sister by just names alone.
Yeah.
But Callie Means just came out with a chart, and it's backing up what RFK Jr. is doing, overhauling HHS, which includes NIH, as he's just talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And it shows in the last, say, decade or two, like a ridiculous increase in the number of administrators.
Yeah.
Whereas the number of, say, physicians has dwindled. It hasn't increased very much. So this is like, again, we don't, as Americans, necessarily disagree with all the goals. We want good health care.
Right.
We want sound scientific research. We want breakthroughs. We want people to get their benefits that you earned because you were forced to pay into these systems. Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security. There's not a soul. Even the folks say, oh, it's a Ponzi scheme. The point is not to take from beneficiaries at all. The point in many ways is to secure that for folks who are really relying on it. Again, it's making these more sound, more structurally sound.
They're more protected. What do you say? 40% of the calls they get? It's trying to fraudulently take someone else's Social Security.
And when you have those 15 million fraudulent numbers floating around, and it has now been shown that a lot of that went to like Small Business Administration loans. That's the thing. It's not just a Social Security payout that those numbers are used for. They're used for so many things in our society.
Jobs.
Right.
Illegals jobs.
This gentleman kind of looking at the HHS thing is going to continue here.
Right.
Another example at NIH is today they have 27 different centers. They got created over time by Congress, and they're typically by disease state or body system. There's 700 different IT systems today at NIH.
700 different IT systems.
IT software systems. They can't speak to each other.
So they don't talk to one another.
They have 27 different CIOs. And so when you think about making great medical discoveries, you have to connect the data.
Time out. You said 27 different chief information officers?
Correct.
And most of them are non-technical.
So there's a lot there.
There's a lot of opportunity. It will make science better, not worse.
And when I say that our job is tech support, I really mean it.
Yeah.
We have to fix the computers. If the computers can't talk to each other, you can't get research done. If the computers can't stay online, people won't receive their Social Security. So what we have here are a bunch of failing computer systems that are preventing people from receiving their benefits, that are preventing people from preventing research from happening, that are extremely vulnerable to fraud, and we're fixing it.
And does that include AI? Does that include kind of changing the system overall? That's, I guess, what people are afraid of, is they don't know what this is all looking like, and is it going to affect me in the long term?
It's going to affect them. It's going to affect people very positively. So the changes that we're doing here will ensure the solvency of the American government, of the United States of America. This is what we're trying to do: is ensure that people do receive their benefits in the future. And you can only receive your benefits if the country is operating in a healthy and competent way.
That's where I guess they took a commercial break.
DOGE, Office of.
And in a way, I did watch this live with my grandfather. I
Yeah.
hadn't watched like a live Fox News thing in a while. And I know a lot, millions and millions, like a good chunk of America still relies on Fox News.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't think that's going to go away
Nope.
anytime soon. But
Nope.
for me personally, as a dude in his 30s, it does seem a little antiquated compared to the way you can get information. But I think they learn. Like Brett Baer's like, instead of us doing like these a 5-minute segment here, a 5-minute segment on a 2-minute segment on the Riverfront Brawl in Montgomery, where they show my face but don't say my name. Still a little upset about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you weren't even here that
Are
day.
you needing that?
It was me and Sky.
You need that validation that bad?
No, not really. It's more like I'm on national TV and it's like you can see me, but they won't say my name. It's very frustrating.
Maybe next time you're on national TV, you'll be embarrassed and go, I don't want to be on.
Yeah, maybe. Well, I was a little embarrassed.
You had a good
I
time
admit
this one. So.
That day,
Yeah.
after the weekend where the brawl happened,
Yeah.
I think I went out with Jack Campbell and I drank too much.
Right.
And so I was very hungover. And then Captain Jim just randomly called in. I'm like, I didn't even see the brawl. Jim, you go ahead.
Yeah.
You talk.
Yeah,
And so
it was compelling radio that
that's
day.
the one day where I'm, with my chubby, unshaven, hungover face. I'm on Fox News. Thank you, Brett Baer.
I'm kind of glad I missed it that day. Kind of glad I missed it.
Yeah, you didn't want to be on.
No, it's just, the repercussions that you're feeling, I can only imagine what I would feel as well.
So let's continue with this.
Personnel management, you're a Morgan Stanley banker, M&A guy.
Yep.
Money, and this is a lot of money sloshing around.
There's a lot of money sloshing around. There's a lot of money sloshing out the door. And if you look at the federal government and the way the workforce works, it's really a one-way ratchet over decades.
So it's only going up.
It's only going up. You never take it away. So that leaves you with duplicative functions. It leaves you with overstaffing, and it leaves you with functions in the wrong places. So a couple of examples. Duplicative functions. Brad mentioned 27 CIOs. If you kept going with Brad, he would talk about the communications office. I think you've got 40 distinct communications offices in HHS, right? Yeah.
40?
Wow. Yeah, and that's not unusual, by the way. Multiple offices like that.
It's not making anyone healthy.
This is not about the employees there. There's many hardworking, well-meaning people who took these jobs. These jobs were out there. They applied for them. They took them. They're doing what's there. It's just that they're duplicating the effort of 40 offices. So you've got that. You've got overstaffing. A good example of overstaffing would be the IRS has got 1,400 people who are dedicated to provisioning laptops and cell phones. So if you join the IRS, you get a laptop and a cell phone, you're provisioned. So if each of those IRS officers or employees provisioned 2 employees per day, you could provision the entire IRS in a little more than a month. So 12 times a year,
It doesn't make any sense. Why would you have 1,400 people whose only job it is to give out a laptop and a phone?
Right. The whole IRS could be handled once a month. So that doesn't make any sense. And President Trump's been very clear. It's scalpel, not hatchet, and that's the way it's getting done. And then once those decisions are made, there's a very heavy focus on being generous, being caring, being compassionate, and treating everyone with dignity and respect. And if you look at how people have started to leave the government, it is largely through voluntary means.
Yep.
There's voluntary early retirement. There's voluntary separation payments. We put in place deferred resignation, the 8-month severance program. So there's a very heavy bias towards programs that are long dated, that are generous, that allow people to exit and go and get a new job in the private sector. And you've heard a lot of news about rifts, about people getting fired. At this moment in time, less than 0.15, not 1.5, less than 0.15 of the federal workforce has actually been given a RIF notice.
So they've selected if they're leaving.
It is
basically almost no one's gotten fired. That's what we're saying.
Tom Krause, working at Treasury, you are having access to the payment system, oversees all the outgoing payments.
Okay, I'm going to pause it there because especially the way the corporate press has talked about this and say Democrat media has talked about this, they're like the worst people are trying to get into your Treasury payments and steal your cheese. Well, I don't even know I had cheese up there.
Oh, yeah.
But when he actually breaks down the way the system works, and you can get why, I'll put it this way. Like, why do you still have, say, certain nukes on like floppy disk and stuff? Like, it's because they're such important sensitive systems. Like, it ain't broke, don't fix it.
We'll go with that.
But we're long past the point of it ain't broke. It is broke.
Yeah.
You're
This is
seeing,
broke.
in particular with the Treasury payment system, so much money going out the door you can't even account for.
Right.
So, but the corporate media wants to make out this guy you're about to hear from is like, he's the devil. He's Beelzebub himself, the Lord of the Flies. Well, we all know that was Barack Obama. But
Essentially,
let's
the
listen in.
payments were going places we didn't know where they were going, right?
Yeah, unfortunately, that's the case, Brett. As an ex-CFO of a big public tech company, really what we're doing is we're applying public company standards.
Tom Krause is this guy's name.
And it is alarming how the financial operations and financial management is set up today. There is actually really only one bank account that's used to disperse all monies that go out of the federal government.
Time out. One bank account.
It's a big one. It's a big one.
It's a big one.
It's a big one. A couple weeks ago, it had $800 billion in it, but it's the Treasury General account.
How many times that thing been hacked?
When you hear, some of my colleagues here, what they're talking about in terms of the fraud, you have to ask, well, why is this allowed to happen at a financial level? Well, it's actually quite simple but alarming. The Treasury, up until now, and thanks to President Trump, we're fixing this. In fact, there was an executive order that he just signed the other day, which is protecting America's bank account, because it really is the taxpayers' money. One, we're changing the culture. The culture is been not a lot of caring and not a lot of commitment to doing what's right relative to financial operations. There's a $500 billion of fraud every year. There's hundreds of billion dollars of improper payments, and we can't pass an audit. The consolidated financial report is produced by Treasury, and we cannot pass it on. We have material weaknesses. What that means is that if I was a public company CFO, I would effectively be removed. I couldn't file financial statements. I couldn't issue securities, which of course we depend on. Can't pass an audit.
Right. The federal government cannot pass an audit. It's impossible. In fact, in order to pass an audit, you need the information necessary to pass an audit. You need to have the payment codes, you need to have the payment explanation, and you need to have a person you can contact to understand why that payment was made. None of those things were mandatory until just recently, just a few weeks ago. In fact, maybe last week.
Yeah, we're serving 580 plus agencies. And up until very recently, effectively, they could say, make the payment, and Treasury just sent it out as fast as possible. No verification. And so what we're doing is what any household would do. But imagine you're a household, you have a bank account, everyone has an ATM card connected to that account, everyone has a checkbook connected to that account. It's not just your children, it's not just your parents, it's your in-laws, it's your extended family, and they all can go to the account and disperse funds. No questions asked, no justification, no verification.
Crazy.
Wow.
Absolutely crazy. And I mean, this is the world we now live in, and that they're trying to fix.
Yeah.
And again, especially after hearing this interview, there's about 9 minutes left in it. When I watched this last night, I'm like, this is like a oasis in the middle of a just awful desert.
But honestly, are you that surprised? I mean, we've known.
No, I just didn't know it's wonderful to hear the particulars.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could be like, yeah, it makes sense theoretically there'd be a lot of fraud. It makes sense because of the way we suspect government, especially Craig here suspects government, that this would be going on. I love that it is. Again, we'll get to the Jon Stewart thing. There are more and more people who are Democrats, I think, starting to realize, oh, wait, all the stuff that we want to do, say you want like fully socialized healthcare. Well, why hasn't it really worked out yet? And it's because the people that are selling you all this stuff, say you're a true believer in progressive values, the people selling you those progressive values have no intention. That's not the goal. The goal is to make money and to also earn status and position and climb the ladder. The goal is it's legal graft, essentially, in many ways. It's an awful system that has sort of been allowed to metastasize in the name of democracy and the people. Again, it's these elitist institutions that wrap themselves in the Constitution, the American flag, and the will of the people, the democracy around the earth, that actually act incredibly anti-democratically and incredibly fraudulently, like any other ruler in human history.
Yep.
Seriously, if kings did this sort of thing, they wouldn't have their head very long. And maybe that's the brilliance of this system. It's not like one king who's to blame. It is millions of people dispersed throughout the country. You don't even know their names. So we'll continue with this in just a second. First, this part of the program brought to you by River Region Contracting. And their River Region Contracting, Todd Clark and his team are ready to help you out with that roof of yours. Could be an asphalt shingle roof or a metal roof. Either needs to be inspected on a regular basis. And when you work with River Region Contracting, you're working with the best, the premier roofing contractor here in the area, and they're not associated with any other roofing business here in the area. It's River Region Contracting with Todd Clark. And when you call them up, the great news is if you're looking for an inspection, that inspection's always free.
That's right, Joey.
That's why we've been saying do it on an annual basis at least. Or maybe you had a storm roll through and you're a little worried about it. Get it done by River Region Contracting. That inspection is free, can give you peace of mind. Say they do find a problem, they'll write up an estimate for free. It's accurate. They show up on time. They do the job well. And they can even fight on your behalf with the insurance company.
That's exactly right.
They can walk you through that claims process and make it a easy experience. So y'all check them out today. That number for River Region Contracting, 356-8635. That's 356-8635. And be sure to tell Todd Clark and the team there that Joey Nettie, those fellas on the radio, sent you. Let's finish up with this.
All right.
Tyler Hassan, Interior Department. You're a former oil company CEO. You're reviewing contracts before they're approved for funding. What do you find?
Well, Elon and Steve kind of stole my thunder a little bit, but I actually found that customer service survey contract. I actually have an example of one right here. I could have done this in high school. And
Is that right?
I found it. I found it on the weekends because under the Biden administration, there was no departmental oversight within the Department of Interior whatsoever. None. We are now reviewing every single contract, every single grant, and when things come to my attention that don't make sense, I'm bringing them to Secretary Burgum, and he's been fantastic. He's a businessman. He's very supportive of DOGE. It's been wonderful to work with him.
Is the battle between government of decades and decades of buildup and business, which you guys are, is that like a train hitting each other? I mean, it seems like it's pretty disruptive.
Well, this is a revolution, and I think it might be the biggest revolution in government since the original revolution. But at the end of the day, America is going to be in much better shape. America will be solvent. The critical programs that people depend upon will work, and it's going to be a fantastic future. But are we going to get a lot of complaints along the way? Absolutely. You know, one of the things I learned at PayPal was who complains the loudest? And with the most amount of fake righteous indignation, the fraudsters. It's a tell. There's these NGOs that are crazy, like the $2 billion to Stacey Abrams NGO that basically didn't exist and suddenly gets $2 billion awarded from the federal government. She has, why? And there are many such cases like that.
I think that most people, common sense wise, would say the fraud's got to end.
Yeah.
They're concerned about the 94-year-old mother who skips a check or somehow doesn't get what she's supposed to get.
Right. And what we're trying to say is actually that the 94-year-old grandmother is actually, as a result of DOGE's work, going to get her check. She's not going to be robbed by fraudsters like she's getting robbed today. And the solvency of the federal government will ensure that she continues to receive those Social Security checks, that Medicare continues to work, without which we're all doomed. The reason we're doing this is because if we don't do it, America's going to go insolvent. We're going to go bankrupt. And nobody's going to get anything.
Why are you guys all doing it? I mean, you can pipe up, but you don't have to be here, right? I mean, you don't have to be doing this.
I have blessed with four beautiful children, my wife and I. But we have a real fiscal crisis. And this is not sustainable. And what's worse, back to my children and everyone else's children, is we are burdening them with that debt. And it's only going to grow.
Steve, there's not a lot of hierarchy here. You guys are kind of all approaching it in different, silos, but with the same kind of goal, right? I mean, this is really Silicon Valley, private sector colliding with government.
Yeah, exactly. And we're headed in a bad path, but the chance of success exists. And just the one that just is in my head right now, which is a fairly mundane one, but I think is very illustrative, is credit cards. there are in the federal government around 4.6 million credit cards for around 2.3 to 2.4 million employees.
What?
Wow.
This doesn't make sense.
Right.
And so one of the things all of the teams have worked on is we've worked with the agencies and said, do you need all of these credit cards? Are they being used? Can you tell us physically where they are?
I hope they're getting frequent flyers.
Actually, on a different note, the rewards program the federal government has is actually not very good. That's a whole other
negotiation.
Sure, yeah, exactly. But so far, the teams have worked together and they've reduced it from 4.6 million to 4.3 million. So
we're taking it easy.
Yeah,
but clearly there should not be, more. There should not be more credit cards than there are people. Yeah.
Joe, middle level employees, are they seeing a benefit to being empowered by taking out bureaucracy? I mean,
absolutely. I mean, I think what you're seeing is taking the best of Silicon Valley and the business world and bringing it into the government. We're bringing the best practices and the best methodologies, and people are inspired, right? Especially on the retirement process, which I can speak to. They've been trying to modernize and get off of paper since early 2000s, very unsuccessfully.
Yep.
Every attempt has gone over budget and been canceled because it hasn't been successful. And so, I showed up and I feel like I'm here because it's an interesting problem. We can use design to solve it and good engineering and really create a better experience for everybody.
We're talking about elementary financial controls that are necessary for any company to function. So like if the federal government, if a commercial company operated the way the federal government does, then it would be immediately go bankrupt. It would be delisted. The officers would be arrested. And the changes we're putting in place will enable the federal government to pass an audit. It will enable taxpayers to know where the money is going and know that their hard-earned tax dollars are being spent well.
Brava. I love it.
I love it.
I love hearing this stuff. And, well, it's just great. Like, and that interview in particular was refreshing because you hear a lot of noise. And this week, in a way, it's almost like all the heat, the eye of Sauron, moved away from Elon and Doge and moved towards Hegseth and this whole signal chat thing. I think there are a lot of folks. I'll try to put this well, because I think there are a lot of amazing people that work in American national security circles. They really are. They're some of the best of the nation. But it's the commentariat. It's the think tanks. It's the folks that have been making the same mistakes in foreign policy for 20, 30 years that really don't like the overhaul and this approach that you heard in DOGE being brought to things like the DOD. And more than just right-sizing and making the DOD more efficient, making the Pentagon more efficient, I think they're much more upset about, oh, you're breaking with a foreign policy that we've been running for 30 years. How dare you? You're going to take away the project of my life. So no wonder there's pushback.
See, the thing is, I don't know how different the foreign policy is, though. Like, hey, Pete Hegseth, we're going to, break the wheel. Let's go bomb Yemen. We've never done that before. I swear it's more like they're afraid that this new administration is going to stumble upon like significant shenanigans on their part. I don't think it's really the foreign policy thing. I think even going to what Elon was saying with the money, of course there are people balking at that. If you are someone who's living pretty high on the hog on the federal dole using a, credit card or whatever, or maybe you have some backroom deals in the case, which is most likely the case in DOD officials' case. I think that's more what they're afraid of, not that they're sort of precious, because I don't think their foreign policy goals are actually precious to them. I think whatever they're getting for advancing that agenda, I think that's what they're afraid of losing.
That makes sense. Makes sense. I also, though, I would push back a little bit, thinking I think Trump is actually serious about wanting to make peace. Will he pull it off? I mean, we'll see. And I would like the bombing Yemen again. I think the bombing of Yemen, goes back through the Obama years, and it's like,
I think it started with Obama. When the Saudis really started ramping it up against the Houthis.
But the whole goal was like regime change, and let's get the Houthis get in there because we also helped. We were worried about Al Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula, right?
Yeah, and the
Houthis win.
Al Qaeda.
And so I think if the goal of bombing Yemen now, again, this is not going to please somebody who's like truly anti-war, and fair enough. But if the goal is not, we'll have a particular regime that's better for everybody in the region. If the goal is instead, we don't care who runs that country, stop shooting at international shipping through your straits.
Yeah.
That's a much more achievable goal.
Yeah, but see, that's where I agree with JD Vance's objection in the actual
Yeah,
signal
it's great
chat.
objection.
It's like I think it was crazy on the money. It's like 2% of U.S. trade runs through the canal. Is it the Suez? Why am I thinking Suez?
No, Suez.
Oh, it is Suez. Okay, it sounded wrong in my brain. And 40% of European does.
Yep.
So we're in an administration that's saying that Europe needs to pull its own weight. So why are we doing the bombings to make sure that their ships don't come under attack? Because I don't think a U.S. ship has been attacked by the Houthis this entire time, has it?
Oh, no. There have been attacks over the last few years, like hundreds of times.
Not since, I mean, not over the past few years. I mean, recently. Like,
I don't know
remember.
about in the last few months. I don't know. But they've clearly been taking pot shots at not only naval vessels, but a lot of that international shipping. No, I like JD Vance's.
The Houthis are douchebags. Don't get me wrong.
Sure.
But again, it's like, I don't think this is one of these cases where I don't think it's our fight.
Yeah. But I think there's the shift that I'm talking about is the freeloading Europe and they want to keep the status quo I think maybe we're combining both our points. They want to keep the status quo because you're getting paid and it's a sure thing. But I think it's also it is a big shift in strategy that it's not the United States post World War II, where we're going to use NATO and the rebuilding of Europe to keep the United States in, Germany down, and Russia out. No, we're in a much different position now. And hopefully, as Stephen Miller says in that text chain we all got to read, you'll actually put it to the Europeans and say, see, we did this for you. You owe us.
Yeah, but we've been doing that for decades. Like how much money we've been putting into the UN and to other foreign economic interests and other rebuilding. I mean, how much did the UK, how much did the Europe provide for like the rebuilding of Baghdad?
I guess
Sadr City.
What we're in agreement on is I think the foreign policy establishment, for lack of a better word, is very nervous about this administration.
Yeah.
But the reasons are, maybe you've convinced me here, Craig.
No, I mean, I guess my main thing would be, I don't actually think that the vast majority of these people have a moral connection to our foreign policy.
Fair.
I think it's a fiduciary one. It's like if you were to ask Dick Cheney back in Iraq War 2 days, like, hey, why do you think that we should do X, Y, and Z in Iraq and do the intervention and the regime change and the rebuilding? He probably would have given you a moral argument when we in fact know that there was a huge financial gain to his homies at Halliburton. So I think that there's something about, because these aren't moral people that have like a moral ideas of democracy
and
that
that
we
doesn't
need to
come
bring.
up.
So I think it's purely financial on the part of these sort of hacks, and including coming from Michael Waltz. Like I still cannot believe how many people are ignoring Waltz and focusing on Hegseth.
I don't know.
It's bizarre.
But and that just is a tell that it's an op.
Yeah.
And also Mr. Weapons of Mass Destruction, Jeffrey Goldberg. Like people forget it was long before the Trump administration. I think I look at Jeffrey Goldberg like he's essentially an intelligence agent.
He is the personification of everything wrong with American media. Everything.
Yes. Where it's like Bob Woodward being a naval intelligence officer, and all of a sudden the Watergate thing drops in his mouth.
Isn't that funny?
He's that type of guy. He has contacts. He will do the bidding of the American intelligence, or at least clicks within American intelligence. So we got to hit another break. First, this part of the program brought to you by Montgomery Men's Health. And they're at Montgomery Men's Health. They're ready to help you fellas out, especially if you're feeling run down and tired all the live long day, lacking energy, just feeling worn out physically and mentally. No sex drive to speak of, not sleeping well, and want weight gain, loss of muscle mass. Well, knowing whether you have low testosterone is huge in combating some of these issues. And the providers there at Montgomery Men's Health will conduct a testosterone-focused lab workup, plus a consultation for only $99. And Montgomery Men's Health has low T treatments that can truly change men's lives. Men after treatment can experience higher energy, better gains in the gym. Brother. Better mental clarity, improved sleep patterns, a faster metabolism, and you usually even notice an increased libido.
Right.
Please never do that again. You can actually book the same day that you call. That number, 440-3663. That's 440-3663. Or go to montgomerymen'shealth.com to book your appointment today.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Rich Thomas Weather is brought to you by MPM Feed and Seed. It's time to get those gardens ready. From seeds to plants to fertilizer, MPM has what you need. Shop MPM Feed and Seed in Prattville, 1313 Highway 31 North. Open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, Saturdays, 8 to 1.
Rich Thomas weather.
Well, hi, everybody. We're still running way below normal today, but temperatures will warm up over the weekend. Today's high up to about 66, plenty of sun. Not as windy as yesterday. Mostly clear, but not quite as cold tonight. Overnight low 40. The warming trend begins tomorrow with Saturday's high up to about 76. I think we'll be near 80 on Sunday. Plenty of weekends sunshine for here and the Gulf Coast beaches. A little cooler on the beach with highs in the 60s. And the risk for showers and thunderstorms becomes likely by Sunday night. Some of the storms could be strong. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Budget Floors and More is your low price leader for everything you need for flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies. For the best prices on luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, flooring installation supplies, and more, shop Budget Floors and More. Hunter Lane across from Del Rey to Publix.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group with your Real Estate Minute. You're thinking of selling your home. Here are several ways to improve the look of your home and possibly the value. Number one, improve the curb appeal with trim bushes and cut the grass. Repaint the exterior where needed, and if needed, paint your front door. Number two, declutter the inside of the home by removing items that are not needed off countertops, dressers, and the den. Three, paint walls and trim where needed with a fresh coat of paint in a light color that will show off your home. Four, clean your oven and microwave inside and out, make it shine. Number five, professionally clean carpets or shine the wood floors with a polish or Bona. Six, clean out all closets or unwanted clothes, shoes, belts, hats, and donate them to a local charity. Finish any leftover repairs now, doorknobs, light bulbs, and closet doors. For a complete list and an in-person evaluation and consultation, call Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group, 221-2883 or 551-0225.
Well, hey, y'all, Lewis at the Capital Oyster Bar over here on that beautiful Alabama River, cooking up that fresh seafood for you. And it's that time of year to get on down here to the rivers. We know we can rent you a pontoon boat down here. All you need is a driver's license and a credit card. A little common sense. We'll get you hooked up on the day on the river. You can come down here with your RV. That's right. We got an RV park. You can come down here and stay a little while. Then all you have to do is walk next door to the river or walk next door to the restaurant. Cook up that fresh seafood for you. And we'll talk about good times on the river this Sunday afternoon. 4 o'clock was a great show. I'm talking about top of the line. Miss Lauren Mitchell's in town. She won a Grammy last year. She's bringing a killer band with her. We're going to have a good time. Check it all out, CapitalOysterBar.com. Go to our Facebook page. You'll see everything you need to know. The upcoming shows. We got some killer shows coming up, y'all. And we also got that great eating. We got a steamer. We got that fryer. We got a grill. So we've got you a good food down here. Good times. Come on now, Sunday afternoon, 4 o'clock. Lauren Mitchell's in the house.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
Alabama weather will never fail to surprise you. Our lawns hardly get a chance to have any downtime. And as usual, it's already time to start getting ready for spring. This year, save the hard work and aggravation and call Alabama Lawns, the River Region's leader in weed control and fertilization services. What makes Alabama Lawns the River Region's best? It's the people. They have the experience, education, and commitment to customer satisfaction. Ask your neighbors. Alabama Lawns has been the Montgomery Advertiser's Reader's Choice Award winner 13 years in a row. The Alabama Lawn staff is made up of long-term employees and agronomy graduates, and the staff at Alabama Lawns attend annual continuing education classes. It pays to have someone that knows southern grass types and how to keep them green and flourishing. Call Alabama Lawns today at 272-7171 and let them show you real value in a lawn maintenance service. Alabama Lawns, the company with black trucks and green lawns. 272-7171.
Live, local talk. The River Region's most trusted voice for news and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. Call us back, Soldier Boy. You were patient for so long, and then you dropped. Let's go to the phones and talk to Chris. Hey, Chris, how you doing?
Hey, guys. Good Friday.
Good Friday.
I was going to ask you, if all these people start going to prison because we're finding out all this money's being stolen, like Stacey Abrams for $2 billion, if she goes to prison, will we be able to afford to feed her?
How dare you?
Or are we going to be able to crawl back to $2 billion to feed her when she's sitting in federal prison?
We'll just feed her the smaller, weaker inmates. I think that's two birds with one stone.
I'm announcing for people that commit crimes, cannibalism. Not like they have to cannibalize each other, though.
This is the real Hunger Games.
And if the ACLU doesn't like it.
We need to find like an island we can all put them on. They can fight it out.
And then put cameras?
Of course.
Yeah, and we can then we could stream it and we could recoup our money that way.
Yep.
Be like a real reality show. Federal workers gone mad.
Yeah, it could be anybody's kind of down and out. Like, this is all very humane discussion right here. Like, let's just have folks kill each other for our entertainment. I mean, the Romans did it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, come on. Well, I mean, Netflix. It'd be like Squid Games or something like that. For federal inmates.
Yeah, I love how we act like we're so better and so improved, and that most entertainment is just it's like a virtual version of the Coliseum.
Yeah, one sort of another.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Will they circus and peanuts? I mean, it's been going on since the dawn of man. This is how they just kind of get you confused, and like a squirrel, squirrel, and you look over there, and next thing you know, they're stealing $2 billion from you for air conditioners and ovens.
Yep.
Goodness.
So, yeah, I mean, this is it, and that hundreds of millions of credit cards, and it's like who is running the asylum? I mean, it's just
nobody.
It's so
nobody.
Yeah, no, and it's so weird. Like if you're a money manager, or you're like Branko or myself or somebody out there, you're a fiduciary, right?
Right.
Supposed to.
And you can become a fiduciary, especially if it's qualified money, and you become a fiduciary and you do something wrong, guess what? You go to jail or you lose your life.
Straight to jail. That's right.
Yeah, no one else is a fiduciary. They've taken in billions of dollars and thrown them out all over the place. Where's the fiduciary responsibility for these government people? But that's something they should have. They said if you're a government employee or an elected representative, you are now a fiduciary of the American or the state tax money, and therefore, when it's stolen, you are held responsible for it because you're not doing your duties as a fiduciary.
I think it makes common sense, but no wonder they haven't adopted it in a while. Because it's, rules for thee, but not for me.
There you go.
That's the whole point of government.
Did you see where Mississippi just got rid of their state income tax?
I did. I
Tate.
love it. Tate Reeves.
That's right.
Best
Tate.
name in politics.
Hey.
Maybe other than the Young Boozer. Young Boozer's
Yeah,
pretty good
good
name.
one too.
That's a pretty good name.
Yeah, well, see, Tate Reeves, whatever you love or hate the guy, they got some dynamic thinking in Mississippi. Can you believe that? They're dynamic. They're ahead of it. Hell, they might have Bitcoin before you know it in a trust somewhere.
Very well could.
But the state of Alabama, we're still talking about lotteries and I don't even know what they're discussing. Marijuana. Oh, they're finally coming across. It was so funny as they're finally coming across to figuring out, hey, all this weed, which is virtually is, they're selling in gas stations. Well, we need to regulate and tax it.
Tax it, baby. That's it.
Yeah. Where were they for about 10 years? They're late to the party on that one too.
It's just I'm quite frustrated with our leadership in this state at this point. It's not like, I think you're evil or something. It's more like y'all are just unimpressive and lack vision. And maybe it's going to take a new generation.
That's it. Their lack of vision is not dynamic. It's even somewhat in the city. All these things, other cities. I mean, if you saw something that was working in another city, wouldn't you just steal the idea?
You would think,
yeah.
I mean, there's no I mean, you don't have any patents or anything over ideas that make your city function better or the roads look better. I mean, you go to Georgia and these other places and these towns that are growing. I mean, you go to Georgia, you're driving on some of the best roads in the country. In Florida too, but yeah, we can't. And by the way, your gas just went up because of the gas tax, right?
3
So we
cents a
haven't really
gallon.
seen. Yeah,
It's
I
such
don't
a
even
mess.
think people realize that.
No, I don't think they do.
Such a mess. Well, I appreciate the call as always, man.
Yeah, man. Y'all have a good one.
You too.
Chris.
272-9228. This entire hour brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage, and they're at Alabama Home Mortgage. Kim Williams and Madeline Cannon are ready to help you, well, whether you're looking to buy or refinance that current home. And, now might be the right time. Spring is sprung. Look into it at least. It could be you just want to get set up to where you can hit the ground running. Go ahead, get pre-approved. Start the process so you can understand how much home you might be able to afford. Or if you're looking to get credit card debt off your back, or it could be just at retirement age, or just any sort of situation you want to reduce that, say, overhead cost every month. They can help you there with a great refinance deal. And especially if you're a veteran, that is the best deal in town. And veterans, you earn these benefits through your service. Why not take advantage of them with great folks there at Alabama Home Mortgage? Call them up today. Start that conversation. 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or you can visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. There is a difference in mortgage companies. Like Kim and Madeline proved that to you today. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man, Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Ernest. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment. Well, the baby liked it.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
The River Region's News Talk station. News Talk 93.1. WACV. News Talk 93.1.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Let's go right to the phones and talk to Michael Cohen from Cohen's Electronics and Appliances. Hey, Michael, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are y'all?
I'm doing good, doing real good. Ready for the weekend. What's the score there today at Cohen?
It's 31-3.
Ooh.
It's been a great couple of days. A lot of people have come in. We have all the refrigerators and washers and dryers. But we also have a lot of things that people sometimes are unaware that we have, like freestanding freezers, ice machines, wine coolers. We have a lot of stuff that people could really come in and take advantage of. And I guess the Speed Queen has probably been the big winner for us the last couple of days, with all the people coming in for washers and dryers.
Well, and I'd imagine the average bear is like, I need a washer, I need a dryer. I don't know really exactly what I'm doing though, like in terms of the exact product. And that's the beauty of them stopping by. You have a pretty wide selection, but it does sound like that Speed Queen is superior.
Yeah. I mean, it weighs more because they use more steel instead of plastic. They're American made. I think, and I got in trouble the other day. I said they're 116 or 14. Anyway, they're 2 years more because the training was a couple of years ago. But it's a very well built unit. They use a lot of steel, so they've got better components. Stainless steel tub. It's a little misleading because they do have what appears to be a smaller tub, but since they use more water, you have more of a usable tub.
Well, there you go.
So anyway, but they do a great job.
Well, you have me at well built unit, folks. You guys can always check out Cohen's online at thinkcohens.com, but I really encourage you to stop by here in Montgomery, 2515 Eastern Boulevard here in Montgomery. Open 9 to 6 Monday through Friday, 9 to 4 on Saturdays. And be sure to tell them, find Michael and be like, hey, I heard you on the radio with Joey and Eddie. And congratulations, that great victory for the Crimson Tide last night. I guess Auburn's playing tonight.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That was good.
You guys look good last night,
How
Michael.
How cool would it be if Auburn could win and we could have Auburn, Alabama as the final?
That's what we're pushing for.
Here.
Would the rest of the country lose their stuff?
Oh, yeah. They're already mad because it's mostly SEC.
That's not fair. Alabama's the place where we send all our waste
garbage,
to dump.
that's right.
Yeah. So anyway, y'all come see us this weekend. We'll be open Saturday until 4, and come in and ask us some questions. Let us ask you some questions. Let us help you make the right choice for whatever your needs are.
Appreciate it as always, Michael. Have a good weekend, man.
All right, y'all take care.
See you, brother.
Let's go to Soldier Boy. Hello.
Soldier Boy.
How you doing?
Go Gators.
Go Gators.
Now, first of all, Alabama's not going to be playing Auburn in for the national championship because both of those teams did not win one game out of 7 games they played this year against Florida, including the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we got Florida to beat. That's it. What else we got? That's the only thing standing in the way?
Yeah, that's like BYU was kind of a funny game last night. I'll tell you that. But
They looked really weak last night. BYU did.
Oh,
Or Alabama
okay.
just looked that much stronger.
It's because we have the real Lord on our side, not their polygamous prophets.
We used to have a couple guys. And I played high school basketball. They had a couple guys that could hit the threes all day long, open, right?
Mm-hmm.
Coach, he called a timeout and he said, "Come over here, Soldier Boy." He said, "You see that boy that's making all threes?" I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "I want you to stick to him like glue." I said, "I don't care about anybody else driving by you or anything. You just make sure he's not open and they don't want to throw the ball to him because you got him covered." Man, I covered him. So he got frustrated after a while. So that's another story. But I was going to talk. Okay, second thing is I'm going to talk about. What's the story on our multi-million-dollar electric car chargers over in West Montgomery? What's up with that?
I don't think we've seen them there.
I don't think they put them out there yet. Have they?
There's a lot of process to it. You gotta check and double check and check again before you can do that.
How long is that going to be, Joe? I mean, I want to know how long. I just want to see how long it's going to take once they get them built. How long that copper is going to be there?
Probably not in your time, maybe in mine.
I don't think they're going to be there very long.
You're probably going to go to the grave wondering, what about those car chargers?
Oh, you just don't think they'll be put out there yet?
Right.
Oh, I see.
Oh, I think they'll be out there so they can steal that copper, man, and get the money for that. They'll do something to take it. Another thing was when I was over in Desert Storms when we were staying out there in the trailer huts. That was a Halliburton project, and that was, of course, who was that? Dick Cheney was the primary stockholder of that, him and his daughter, but mostly him. Okay. And we went in there to eat breakfast, and the guy said, he says, "You got a nice breakfast buffet there." I said, "Hey, it looks nice." He said, "No, I just want to let you know it costs the taxpayers and you, because you pay taxes," he said,
that cost you $65. I'm like, what? I said, that's a nice looking breakfast, but that ain't $65 worth of my money, you know, or any taxpayer's money. He says, what it is when they have bid auctions on it, he says, they'll get that first and then they'll sell it to somebody else and to somebody else because the food was cooked by what do you call those places that take care of food for you at the weddings and stuff like that?
Catering. Yeah.
Yeah, the caterer was from Kuwait, man. And let me tell you, fried chicken from Kuwait is not the same. I don't care if it's the same damn bird or not, but it don't taste like it. They even had a KFC in one of the malls. I'm like, oh God.
Apparently,
hell no.
and Craig, you could attest to this. The Chinese are pretty good at the fried chicken, right?
To be honest, man, their fried pork is infinitely better, and their fried duck is unreal. Like they're like, yeah. So really, they're not too well known for the fried chicken. Although there was like a chicken a chain there that was really good that I liked. But when it comes to like frying pork and frying duck, nobody does it better.
You know, what's funny about chicken though is I looked at the Kuwaiti person there that was serving the food and everything. I said, there's only so many ways you can mess up and cook fried chicken. I mean, it'll take a rocket scientist over there to cook fried chicken. I know that.
Oh, sure.
Okay. Yeah, but it was like $60. But because when it goes through, the game goes through 4 or 5 different subcontractors to a point where it costs us $60. Talk about waste.
Yep.
Elon was talking about waste.
Story after story
for breakfast.
Yep. Well, and didn't you want to ask Craig about the mayor's records or something earlier this week?
Yeah. How's that coming along on his traveling Love Boat Connection tour?
It's chugging along. Stay tuned.
Now stay tuned. Will that be before I pass away, or my grandkids still alive?
Well, it depends on how much attitude you give me. That timeline you give me.
Well, then the mayor needs to pay me if I'm giving attitude to you, man. If I'm the brake pads of you, then the mayor should be really happy with me. Then, damn.
Speaking of brake pads, I just had to change mine. I felt like a real man when I changed.
You actually
brake
did
pad.
it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Good job.
I'm impressed.
Come do my F-150. Need rotors
Okay, so
too.
you're thinking what? This month? Next month?
I'd say in the next month.
But they do stonewall
Oh,
you. I
wow.
mean, it's not like they're saying, "Hey, Craig, here's the records. Come get them." They're probably
No,
I know.
it's been a very, very arduous process.
I bet. I can only
Now,
imagine.
when you say that, did you have to go legally for like Freedom of Information Act? I mean, did you have to do any of those tactics?
Well, yeah, I mean, I had to file a public records request, and then it was weeks, if not more than a month, of haggling over what they wanted to give me and didn't want to give me. And
wow,
I mean, and honestly, it's, you know, the weight of law is really behind government agencies here, because it's up to the plaintiff, if you decide to take it to court, to prove that you have a vested interest in accessing these records. Which is just insane to me.
Yes.
That it's like I have to prove why I need it. And Alabama law says that you can't request records based sheerly on prurient interest. And I'm like, and I'm just wondering why not? Yeah, I mean,
why not?
Yeah.
I mean, they're taxpayers and they work for us.
Well,
I should be able to go there and ask a simple question. Hey, you know, let me show me your, you know, because when I was in the military, we used to get our per diem and everything. We saw that it's public record there, how much the ticket, the air flight cost, or how much or when we did our travel pay when we got back. Everything is public record. I mean, it's not a big deal.
Yeah, well, but this ain't the military. I appreciate it, Soldier Boy. I got to hit the stop hour. Thanks.
See you, Soldier Boy.
Final hour coming up.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. Israel has launched an attack on the Lebanese capital, Beirut, for the first time since a ceasefire ended the latest Israel-Hezbollah war back in November. Israel's army said it attacked a Hezbollah drone storage facility in the area of Dahia, which it called a key Hezbollah stronghold. The Trump administration asking the Supreme Court for permission to resume deportations of Venezuelan migrants to El Salvador. While a court fight continues, President Trump invoked the Alien Enemies Act for the first time since World War II to justify the deportation of hundreds of people under a presidential proclamation calling the Tren de Aragua gang an invading force. On Wall Street, the Dow dropping 722 points. This is SRN News.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit. 800-885-3333. That's 800-885-3333. 800-885-3333.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of H&H Carpets across from Walmart on the Atlanta Highway, where right now you can get 1,050 square feet of carpet installed for $19.95 only at H&H Carpets in Montgomery.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. Our period of storm-free weather is about to end. For tonight, we're dry through the evening hours with the overnight low temperature tonight very mild, down to about 61. Tomorrow's high temperature, we'll say 78 to 80. Risk of scattered thunderstorms begins Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening. Then there could be more scattered storms on Sunday. A couple of those could be strong, but the main event begins in the pre-dawn hours of Monday morning. And that risk will continue at least through the midday hours on Monday. Showers and storms, some severe with damaging wind gusts and the threat of tornadoes. We're keeping a close eye on it. From our Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
1819 News.
The current chief counsel to Alabama Attorney General Steve Marshall is Catherine Robertson. Robertson was recently asked about her future career plans at a meeting held by Marshall County Republican women. Robertson was specifically asked if she will be running for her boss's seat in 2026. Robertson did admit that such a run is under her consideration and she's trying to decide what to do in the future. Robertson joined the Attorney General's office back in 2016 after serving as vice president of the Alabama Policy Institute. Current AG Marshall will be completing his second term in office and is term limited in running again as Attorney General. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Did you know that 70% of people experience a potentially traumatic event in their lifetime, and that 6 out of every 100 adults face PTSD every day? Help us bring hope to these survivors by signing up for your Alabama Distinctive PTSD Awareness License Plate today. The great thing is you can sign up no matter when your current plate renews, and the first year is complimentary. All you need is your VIN number on hand. Drive awareness, drive hope, and customize your plate today at atease.org. That's ATEASE.org.
Birmingham police have made their first arrest involving a new state ban on Glock switches. A 15-year-old boy was arrested for having the gun conversion device. The teen is now facing a Class C felony. The Glock switch ban was passed by the state legislature just a week or so ago and went into effect immediately. Construction of the brand new Coca-Cola Amphitheater in Birmingham continues forward. The project is reportedly only 2 months away from completion. Performances have already been scheduled to take place there for Live Nation starting in June of this year. This weekend in Huntsville, the Paralympics cycling time trials will be held. Over 60 paracyclists will take part in the competition and determine which athletes will represent the U.S. in 2 upcoming paracycling road world competitions. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number 1 in the number 2 business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
You want your floors to scream new, fresh, and stylish, but if yours are groaning, tired, old, and outdated, you're in luck. Because the Prattville Spring Sale is your opportunity to revitalize your floors while you save on the best brands available, including Mohawk, with perfect and professional installation and Prattville's unbeatable lifetime warranty.
Hi, I'm Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. If you're looking for carpet, hardwood, laminate, vinyl plate, or ceramic tile, call us today for your free measurement. Prattville Carpet, we're more than just carpet.
Start shopping now at PrattvilleCarpet.com.
Are you thinking about selling your home? Here's a question for you. Would you trust your biggest investment to someone who's only doing real estate as a side gig? They've got another job, so how focused are they on getting you the best results? I'm Hannah Grantham, and for us at Forest Meadows Homes and Land, real estate is our full-time and only job.
That's right. You don't have a part-time banker, so why would you have a part-time realtor?
So if you're thinking of selling, think Hannah Grantham and Eddie Bader, and let's make sure your home gets the attention it deserves.
We're full-time agents getting full-time results. Give us a call today, 334-322-0662.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Into the final hour of the program. Again, if you ever missed parts of the show or you caught part of a segment, you want to hear more, you can always watch online, Joey Clark Live, on YouTube, or on X at the Joey Clark, and you can also check things out on Facebook. Though I'm seeing that despite Zuckerberg's promises, they're still relying on fact checkers there at Facebook. Anybody surprised about that? Yeah.
Oh, no.
I hate to hear that.
But as you know, we've been pretty heavy on the DOGE and all this other stuff. Let's check in on the other side of the aisle, so to speak.
All right.
Tim Walz, I guess, was invited to be a special guest with Beto O'Rourke at a Texas town hall.
That's a lot of estrogen in one room, bro.
Yeah, it is. Well, here's one. Well, I mean, maybe Walz should be the leader of the party when he has stuff like this to say.
That our strength is our diversity. We've been talking about this for years as a country of immigrants, and we let them define the issue on immigration.
Mm-hmm.
We let them define the issue on DEI, and we let them define what woke is. We got ourselves in this mess because we weren't bold enough to stand up and say, you damn right we're proud of these policies. We're going to put them in, and we're going to execute them.
Shame. Seriously. Like some of the stuff he wants to defend, screw you, buddy. You creepy compromised, whatever you are. And now this clip is remarkable. I guess he's trying to say this as like a humorous anecdote, personal anecdote. But look, I'll just play it.
So I got an 18-year-old, Gus, and I'm with Gus out there. And I'm having one of those dad talks with him. I was giving Gus my wisdom on what he had done wrong. You know, I was being, because I know these things, right? I'm the dad. In the middle of it, he gives me the old, says the guy who got his ass kicked by Donald Trump. And I'm like, okay. So
You really think that happened?
Probably not.
I think that's like a bit of self-deprecation just to get it out there. It'd be like if he was the guy got busted with like gay porn,
Mm-hmm.
he would mention it at every rally so it can't be used against him.
When Pee Wee came out,
or
I forget the music awards, he said, heard any good jokes
Well,
lately?
I was just scrolling, and all of a sudden there was a tranny, and I was like, oh, I accidentally.
I live in daily fear that the FBI is going to plant things on my laptop.
Yeah?
Yeah. You hear those stories like that where that's actually happened, and it just freaks you out because like I know nothing about technology.
Right, because I wouldn't know.
I wouldn't know how to defend myself.
Ugh, goodness gracious. So shifting gears, but sticking to like what's happening on the left, I've been previewing this all day. The Jon Stewart breakdown. I can't play the clip because he drops way too many F-bombs, but he's doing it out of just being like, what? It's Ezra Klein, the very well-known lib reporter. Ezra Klein's explaining to Jon Stewart why so many states have been so slow to receive the Build Back Better funds.
Mm-hmm.
So let me just read what Jon Stewart screamed OMFG. Y'all know what the acronym stands for, OMFG. And he's also just rendered speechless. At one point, he gets up from his chair and starts walking around with his hand on his head. Like he's that flustered by what Ezra Klein's telling him.
And Ezra Klein is just the worst too, by the way.
Right.
But I mean, but it's insane. I saw a brief clip of it. I'm
Here's what Ezra said. We have to issue the notice funding opportunity within 180 days. That's step one. Step two, states who want to participate must submit a letter of intent. After they do that, they can submit a request for up to $5 million in planning grants. Then the NTIA has to review and approve an award again. States who want to participate must submit that letter of intent. Step 3, they can request up to $5 million in planning grants, just planning. Step 4, the requests are again reviewed and awarded by the NTIA. States must then submit a 5-year action plan. All 56 had passed through at least step 5. It took more than 3 years. Step 6, then the FCC must publish the broadband. This, I imagine, is to get broadband put out throughout the country. The FCC must publish the broadband data maps before NTIA allocates funds. So having done the no vote, so the letters of intent, the request for planning grants, then the review approval and awarding for the planning grants, then the 5-year action plans. In between that, the federal government has to put forward a map saying where it thinks we need rural broadband subsidies. And then, of course, the states need an opportunity to challenge the map for accuracy. Step 7. So then the NTIA has to use the FCC maps to make allocation decisions. Step 8 is states must submit an initial proposal to the NTIA. Jon Stewart goes, but then what was the 5-year plan and what the F did they apply for? Ezra Klein continues. Step 9, NTIA must review and approve each state's, again, initial proposal. By my read, we have had at least 2 initial proposals here, but that's a different issue. Step 10, states must publish their own map and allow internal challenges to their own map. Step 11, the NTIA must review and improve the challenge results in the final map so they can put that forward, that map. Step 12, states must run a competitive sub-granting process. That's when Stewart gets up and goes, oh my effing, blah, blah, blah. After all this has been done, step 13, states must submit a final proposal. All the proposals weren't enough to NTIA. Now that goes to just 3 of the 56 that have applied. NTIA must review and approve the state's final proposal, and that is just 3 of the 56 jurisdictions and states that are there. And Stewart says, essentially, I'm speechless, and essentially Jon Stewart was realizing in real time the 9 most terrifying words in the English language. I'm from the government, and I'm here to help.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's convoluted. Actually, Ezra Klein explains it fairly well. Like, he goes through the process, but that's an insane process. And that's just on getting broadband to rural areas. So who's making money there? It's not, people aren't setting up broadband. It's all those steps. It's all those folks have to process all those things. So even if you're like, yeah, the government should expand broadband, it is not the most efficient way. And in fact, it's, well, the guy who pointed this out called it bilk back better. Bilk back better.
I like that. I got to be honest. I like that.
$7.5 billion passed for a nationwide network of electric vehicle chargers. We also get $42 billion to rural broadband. By the end of the administration, they just have not happened. $42 billion again for rural broadband, $7.5 billion for electric vehicle chargers, as Soldier Boy was just asking about here in Montgomery. None of that's happened. This is how the law becomes a series of implementation rules, then a notice of funding opportunity, then there's a comment period, then there's a challenge period for the comments, then there's a series of court cases. Now stop there. But if you can find the clip, just go Ezra Klein, Jon Stewart on Twitter or on X or something. You should be able to find the whole thing and just watch it in real time. Because Stewart, I think, is maybe I'm wrong about this. I think Stewart is a guy kind of is his yeses are yeses and his noes are noes. He is a fairly straightforward guy in what he believes, and he'll tell you what he thinks.
He ate a person on TV.
He ate a person?
Yeah, he was doing one of those things where he was talking to one of these cannibal tribes, and I think they handed him some human brains.
Oh, good God.
Yeah. And I think and he kind of got his super wonkiness really took off after that. Yeah. So it was a weird time.
Oh.
No, and Stewart, I loved him during the campaign where he defended Tony Hinchcliffe.
Yeah.
Where he'll defend things that are just like reasonable, and he'll have these sorts of reactions. And it's like, I can stand Jon Stewart. Bill Maher is a little more like, you old queen. Like, come on, man. Like, but apparently Bill Maher he's going to go meet Trump, and he's comparing it to Nixon going to meet Mao in China.
Wait, was that? I believe that was Ezra Klein. Am I missing someone?
No, honestly, when you said that, it sounded very familiar. Like, swear to God, I've heard that before.
Yeah. Can you find it online?
I'm looking. You can go on about your show.
Thank you. Because that's the whole like. Let me type in cannibalism into the Google and see what I can find. It's absolutely crazy.
I'm sorry. It was Reza Aslan.
Reza
that's what I was thinking.
Aslan.
You can see how I got the two.
We're sorry, Ezra.
Sorry, Ezra. Yeah, it was Reza Aslan. He's the worst.
Reminds me of a great Norm Macdonald SNL Weekend Update. Oh, looking at the top of the charts here for music for college students. Top of the college charts. Coming in number 2, Ezra, and number 1, Better Than Ezra.
Yes. That's all I can think. Better Than Ezra.
Oh my God!
Sorry, I had to get it out.
No, there was a Better Than Ezra phase. They were big when I was in high school.
CD.
Yeah,
Probably
no,
one
good
of
stuff.
my things. Yeah.
I don't know if it would still.
I always get names turned around in my brain, but that one makes sense to me. Like Reza and Ezra. Like, yeah, I forgive myself for that.
Because I have a feeling if Ezra Klein actually did, he wouldn't be in the standing. He said, "You even accidentally, you eat human being." We got some explaining to do, man. Now, sticking to the Doge theme, this is RFK Jr. from his perspective, being interviewed by Chris Cuomo.
Oh yeah, that's awful. That is awful.
Cuomo. By the way, him and Bongino, and I know, I work out. Craig works out. Do you work out, Eddie? No. But have you ever felt like posting your deadlifts online?
Every once in a while, but then I'm like, that would be a douchebag move, and then I don't.
I did have to unload a backhoe bucket the other day by myself, and I thought I should have got that on video just for the simple fact that my knees could have caved and I could have just collapsed, and that would have been funny. Got me some money.
Well, the main thing is I take like a lot of progress photos, especially when I'm dieting, just to make sure that's everything. And every once in a while, I'll look at one and be like, man, a lesser man would totally post the crap. But this is why you need male friends in your life. That will call you some sort of homosexual epithet.
Yes, they will, Craig. Yes, they will.
No, I think at the end of the day, Dan Bongino was a badass. But as soon as I saw him doing deadlifts and filming it and just putting it out, I'm like, no, thank you.
See?
I don't care if you're trying to sell me
Okay,
creatine.
so at what age do you cut that off? Because some younger guys,
no, you have to
really look good.
I don't think it's an age thing. You have to be like
Just
that's
super
your
jacked?
That's your thing.
No, that's your thing.
Okay. Okay.
So if you're like a coach or like an athletic coach or a nutritionist or something, and that's your business, go nuts.
Or you're like a general, like Chris Williamson, like a general knowledge. I'm going to help people.
What if you guys
like,
see the RFK do one? Would you go? Oof, I mean, would you be a little impressed?
Well, there was that video of him. What was on Venice?
When he was jumping in the,
I think.
Yeah, it was Muscle Beach.
Yeah, he was on Muscle Beach, and it was. But that's what you do at Muscle Beach: is you take your shirt off and you exercise in the sun.
And it wasn't.
Guess who doesn't go to Muscle Beach?
And also, he's 70 and jacked.
And what I'm getting at too is it's not like there's somebody else with a camera who films you.
Yeah.
It's like you set up your own camera and you kind of position yourself to where I'm going to look like really cool here.
Yeah, try people like I'll see people, and this isn't me being like forgive the egotism of this the next statement. I am typically the most jacked guy in a gym that I go to. And you'll see these guys that they'll have entire tripod setups to watch a mediocre body move mediocre weight with mediocre form. And I'm just watching.
Wonder why I don't go to the gym.
I'm way better than you. No, if you're just doing it, that's fine. Why are you breaking out a tripod, getting in everyone's way, and filming it to show mediocrity?
Because I'm special.
Yeah, I would watch you if you were like a Sam Sulek type character who just filmed all your workouts.
Yeah,
all the
you're
time.
like hugging the straight leg, seated hamstring machine.
Well, I did
grunting it through.
As a kid, we watched the Strongman, and they had the batteries. They would
Oh,
hold-
yeah.
So we're like, hey, let's go do that. That looks easy. Yeah, like maybe a second you can hold out there before you just feel like your arms have completely.
Yeah, there are
fell off.
certain people it's allowed, like David Goggins. That's allowed.
Yeah.
Oh no,
That's his
doubt,
thing, though.
man.
That's
That's
his
his thing. Yeah.
And it's like, and also, it's
What
like,
did he say? You don't know about me, son. You don't know him. It's like he's just repping it out. I'm like, he's a crazy man.
like he runs like 150 mile marathons.
Yeah.
Like you can do whatever you want.
Right. So
same like with those strongmen. It's like, oh, you're deadlifting 900 pounds. Yeah, go nuts. But like people, it's like, here's my 225 deadlift. It's like, we don't need to see this.
and especially if you're Chris Cuomo. Like, and this is what got me on that whole like thread there about filming yourself, because Cuomo would do that.
Do you remember the dumbbell? He had that fake 100-pound dumbbell that he
Oh,
was
I didn't
curling.
know he had a
Joe
fake
Rogan
one.
called him out. So bad 'cause
Really?
it wasn't like a joke. He had this, and it was fake.
Yeah, like nobody, like unless you're Thor.
Well, no, there's a video of Kevin Laroni, which I don't know if you know who he is. He's probably one of the best looking, like he had one of the best physiques of all time. But you would see him. He did it for like a video where he was curling the hundreds, but he was like heaving it.
Yeah,
You could
yeah.
tell.
Yeah.
But Cuomo was just sitting there doing this, and it's like, oh, that's either fake or you're the strongest human being that I've ever met.
Like, okay, if you're Brian Shaw, you can rep 100-pound dumbbells. Like, but no, most people don't even need to touch them.
Yeah, you need to look up that video. It's so embarrassing. It's so embarrassing.
Anyway, this is Chris Cuomo interviewing RFK Jr. They both lift, bro. And let's listen into RFK explaining how DOGE is helping him overhaul HHS.
Services. We're not going to cut Medicaid. We're not going to cut Medicare. We're going to continue. We're going to provide services, but more efficiently. We have, thanks to Elon. And by the way, what Elon did with our agency is going to help our agency. So I'm very grateful to him he came in for the first time with a real org chart for the agency. The agency org chart, when I arrived, was incomprehensible. There was no chain of command. There were people operating in all these different silos and fiefdoms. And they were so territorial and so self-serving that they were selling patient information to each other. So I tried to get the CMS patient information, which belongs to the American people and belongs to HHS. And the sub-agencies said we have to buy it from them. And it doesn't make any sense. There are sub-agencies that refuse to give us patient data. This is depersonalized data. And we need to make America healthy again. What Elon is doing is he's using AI to improve health, to improve efficiency, to improve delivery. And he had a bunch of geniuses come over to the department, create an org chart that worked, and consolidate. We have many divisions that are doing the exact same thing. We need to consolidate them and give them a sense of mission, to invite them to participate in making our country healthier again. And I think that's why we're getting, a very, very strong, enthusiastic reaction from people within the agency. We're not going.
I love it. I love it because everywhere you look, it sort of explains why have we been spending all this money over, say, the last 2-3 decades, and the results on almost every metric are getting worse.
Yep.
Health is getting worse. Education levels getting worse. Well, we're more credentialed, but it doesn't seem like people are actually all that up to snuff with all the credentials. Right. So it's kind of incredible as we look into all this. And by the way, I think maybe it's because I'm a wrestling fan, and so I'm like not impartial or anything. But I'm liking Linda McMahon as the head of the education department. This is one where Linda McMahon is, along with Nikki Neely, I'll let them just speak for themselves, but calling out the state of Maine in particular. Let's listen in to the education secretary.
Hello, I'm U.S. Secretary of Education, Linda McMahon, joined by Parents Defending Education founder and president, Nicole Neely. Today, the Department of Education is announcing an unprecedented directed investigation into the Maine Department of Education for alleged violations of the Family Educational Rights Privacy Act, or FERPA. We have heard disturbing reports that dozens of Maine school districts.
Hold on. Greg and I shared a moment when I first heard this clip earlier today when she went, or FERPA. I'm like,
FERPA.
Anyway, let's keep going.
To create gender plans that support a student's transgender identity and then hide those plans from parents, claiming they don't fall under education records. That is unacceptable and unlawful, if true. Parents and guardians have the right to access their child's education records to guide and safeguard their child's mental, emotional, and physical well-being, and we will uphold the law.
Thank you, Secretary McMahon. You are absolutely correct. The parents have a right to know what is taking place while their children are under the care of school personnel. So many of these complaints were ignored by the previous administration. The practice of leaving parents in the dark while schools push students to undergo so-called gender transitions, and it became all too common. We're proud to stand with you and President Trump as you ensure that the law is being followed and that school districts do not infringe on parents' rights.
Again, Linda McMahon is the one, for folks who weren't listening earlier in the week.
She's married to the big guy.
Yeah, I know.
You're fired. Triple H will not. Sorry.
Apparently, she was the person really responsible for writing all the executive orders coming out the gate when Trump was sworn in.
Really?
Yeah.
Just for education or for
no,
everything?
everything. She's a very competent, serious person. In fact, having to deal with the big guy,
the big guy, yeah,
and still turn that multi-million-dollar company into a multi-billion-dollar company. A lot of that is Linda.
Yeah, her savvy is. I mean, yeah. Talk about a power couple. And isn't it so funny that like the charges against her husband were just kind of disappeared as soon as the campaign was over?
Of course. No, I'm pretty certain after I'd read some of the depositions back and forth.
Yeah,
just curious what they were describing. Very depraved sexual activity.
Yeah,
very depraved. But my sense of it is like I think they did it, like all that stuff. But I think it was probably it was consensual.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Donald Trump grabbing by the you know what.
Mm-hmm.
It's like he said that they let them. You want to know something interesting about that? When you're rich and famous, they do let you. I don't know this, but I've heard it from a lot of people. From a lot of
you're
people.
Not rich and famous?
I am not. I am neither rich nor am I famous. I am like more famous than your garbage man, but less famous than
That's fair.
Than your weather guy. So I have zero fame. But yeah, it's crazy when you read these things, and even gosh, as much as I hate Candace Owens, she's doing the what's his name Weinstein Harvey Weinstein stuff.
Yeah,
she's been talking to him, and apparently she's going to have a big story next about how he kind of got screwed over too. Which
really
I'm going to be fast again. I kind of just caught a snippet of it because I typically tune her out.
Yeah,
I can only hear someone bitch about the Jews so much before I completely lose interest.
What about Macron?
What
Macron and his dad is also
that one's interesting,
wife.
but like what? But it's not exactly like a story. She's just saying her story is that the Macron did not say in an email whether or not Bridget was born as a male or a female, which is kind of like the never mind. I'm going to abandon that analogy.
Yeah, I was about to say if you keep talking about Candace Owens, I'm going to need more methylene.
Yeah, sorry. I can't remember where I was going. Oh yeah, so many of these like post Me Too things are just people that slept with someone, got a bee in their bonnet about it, and then decide to ruin their lives like that because that's what women do when they get vindictive. So good for the big man for sticking that one out, and good for his missus. She looks like everyone's grandma, but she dresses like a post-apocalyptic warlord. It's great. Do that whole like leather black get up she just had. Mwah, love it.
Let's go to line one. You're on there. Who's this?
Hey, this is Major Conspiracy.
Hey, how you doing?
Major Conspiracy.
I would like to give back to the American people a return on their investment since the Air Force paid for my master's degree. I'd like to share a concept with you guys for the evaluation of things that the government should spend money on. Are you familiar with the lighthouse theory of economics?
Lighthouse theory of economics?
Yeah. Probably not. You can talk about it in primary school or secondary for that matter. So there are some endeavors that man takes on that are for everybody's benefit, and you can't collect money on it. A lighthouse is the example.
Right. So there are positive externalities it's the free rider problem.
That is so. And so if an endeavor is something that could generate a profit, the government should not be part of that endeavor. The reason that the Constitution says the federal government is going to have military to defend the country is because nobody would ever pay for that, to have a standing army. And so, and I realize I'm a little late. You guys were talking about economics and what should we pay for and what's not appropriate. But that really should be the standard. If it's something that the private sector can make money doing, then the government should not be doing it. And that includes things like healthcare insurance.
Oh, absolutely. Like, I'll say from what I've steeped in terms of economics is people like Ludwig von Mises and Murray Rothbard who would even argue that even defense could be privatized. I disagree with them at this point. I think you're right about, say, a public good like a standing army. I mean, some private company is going to build a nuclear arsenal. It's kind of absurd. But generally speaking, I think most things could be completely private and on a market.
Yeah, I think the compromise with the defense specifically is that states are in charge of their own defense, and then there's sort of the way this country was designed, which is some sort of union where forces can combine for mutual goals, and so that takes away the overarching federal stuff. It gives you the only sense of patriotism that I think matters, which is local patriotism, which is why I say I'm not an American, I'm an Alabamian. And I mean that sincerely. So I think I agree with you that the whole Rothbardian concept of privatized security, I don't think works functionally. Right. But yeah, I think it
but I bring that up, major conspiracy, because like you're here. I think there's a lot the government's got its tentacles in that is just, it creates inefficiencies and it creates all sorts of incentives that essentially create legalized graft.
The government is never supposed to make money. That's why we tax it.
Then why are we in the liquor store business?
And we're still taxing.
Right.
Yeah. It's but this is, anyone who's ever worked like any kind of job knows what this is. Everyone wants a government contract. Every single person, because it seemed like a blank check.
Yep.
Because they don't bid, they don't care.
Seemed like the hardest part was getting the contract.
Yeah.
Once you got it,
then it's like, it's $20,000 over your quote. Who cares?
Yeah, we can sub this out. We're in.
Yeah.
We're in.
Yeah, so that they just spend money like it's coming out of their proverbial pee hole because they don't see it as their money.
Well, I believe it should be the basis for our taxation and spending in the United States. That now we got people that'll get into business and do that. The government shouldn't be there.
Here. Well, great call, man. Thank you. 272-9228. Got to hit another break here. But first, this part of the program brought to you by Pest Pro Services.
Oh, yeah. If you go to their Facebook page now, you'll see they put out some posts today. They're giving everybody the heads up about the swarms, Joey.
Oh, they're happening?
Man, they're happening.
Now, Ashley, when she was here, made the point that that doesn't necessarily mean you have a huge problem where they've eaten, and because they die pretty quickly, right, when they're out.
It's just the freak out situation.
Yes. Right. So you don't want to go through it.
Yeah, it doesn't mean they're eating your house any faster. It's just the whole, oh my God, there's a gazillion things flying in front of my face right now.
Right. So if you want to get termite coverage, of course, regular pest control services on a regular basis, as well as, say, mosquito service, you can actually bundle all this together where it's about $100 a month.
That's a pretty good deal, man.
Very, very reasonable price for a fantastic service.
Yep.
And especially like mosquitoes, they're coming out like 8 times a year. They're coming out on a very regular basis at the height of mosquito season, making sure your yard is treated. Of course, on a regular basis, they're checking for those termites. And for $40 a month, I believe, starting $40 a month, you can get the basic pest control services. And when you do it that way, they also get to know you, your property, you get to know them. It's not like an emergency gig for you.
Right.
If that makes any sense. And they're also local. So they're always giving back to the community. I'm sure also on that Facebook page, they've got the Player of the Week.
Actually, because it's a spring break, we don't have Player of the Week this week, but that's what they put out, just to let you know they haven't given up. They just said because of spring break, we don't have any. So get all your people that you want to nominate, get them ready, because next week we're going to start out again.
Just direct message them on Facebook.
That's right.
Again, Pest Pro Services. You can always go to ppsregion.com to learn more. Or as we just said, search Pest Pro Services on Facebook, or just call them up direct, 265-9990. That's 265-9990. When you want to know, call a pro. Pest Pro Services, and be sure to tell Ashley and that great team that Joey and Eddie, those fellas on the radio, sent you.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. At PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 specials. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly. whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, then please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting Montgomery.
Since 1966, Alabama Sheriff's Youth Ranches has been more than just a place to stay. It's been a place to belong. For children facing hardships through no fault of their own, our ranches provide more than shelter. We offer a warm home, a loving family, and a future filled with hope. With open arms, we welcome these young hearts, giving them the love, structure, and guidance they need to heal, grow, and thrive in a warm Christian environment. Together, we can give Alabama's children the chance they deserve, a chance to dream, to succeed, and to feel truly cherished. Every donation stays within Alabama, directly impacting the lives of the children who need it most. Join us in making a difference. Visit alabamasheriffsyouthranches.org. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and download our app from your app store. We'd be honored to have you as a part of our mission to lift up Alabama's youth. And remember this, it's easier to build boys and girls than to repair men and women.
Adams Drugs has been committed to the healthcare of the people of the River Region for over 62 years. We value the trust each customer has in our pharmacists, techs, and entire staff. If you have not experienced the difference of Adams Drugs and are not satisfied with the customer service that you get in the big box stores, we invite you to visit any of our locations and see how committed we are to your satisfaction. Adams Drugs offers a variety of services that you will not find in all pharmacies in the River Region. Personalized compounding, area-wide delivery, wellness screenings, immunizations, medication consultations, and specialized packaging, just to name a few. Visit us at our website, adamsdrugs.net, and find the location nearest you. Adams Drugs has 12 convenient locations to serve you. Your satisfaction is our #1 goal. Adams Drugs is your local Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
The 21st Annual Autism Crawfish Boil, benefiting Easter Seals of Central Alabama, is April 5th at Riverwalk Stadium. Proceeds from this fun family event benefit autism programs at Easter Seals of Central Alabama. Enjoy all-you-can-eat crawfish, live music, and even a baseball game. The Autism Crawfish Boil, April 5th at Riverwalk Stadium. Stay and eat or grab them and go. Scan or visit mudbugball.com to purchase tickets and get info on curbside pickup.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is #1 in the #2 business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Hi there, I'm Kim Williams with Alabama Home Mortgage. For years, I've been asking you to call me at Alabama Home Mortgage because there is a difference in mortgage companies. When you call Alabama Home Mortgage, from the moment we pick up the phone, you will hear the difference. We are passionate about what we do. To us, you're not just another applicant. When you call on us, you are trusting that we have your best interest at heart, and we do. We treat our customers like family, and that's why our customers turn into family, coming back to us time and time again. We know you have many options when it comes to mortgage financing, and we appreciate the opportunity to earn your business. We are excited to hear from you. Give Alabama Home Mortgage a call at 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or visit us online at myalabamahomemortgage.com to complete an application on your time. Our passion is just one difference that sets us apart from the rest. It's not just a slogan. Call Alabama Home Mortgage because, folks, there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS 1586-36-8, Equal Housing Lender.
We all want access to care and coverage we need to stay healthy, but Farm Bureau health plans aren't the answer. They are unregulated and unreliable. when it comes to covering you and your family. If you have cancer or another pre-existing condition, well, you'd be out of luck. Alabama deserves better than empty promises. Call your state legislator now and tell them to vote no on Farm Bureau health plans. Visit fightcancer.org/Alabama. It's time for real health insurance.
Paid for by the American Cancer Society Cancer Action Network.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Riverside Chevrolet Wetumpka. If it's Chevy, it's Riverside. Best price, best selection. Check them out on the web at riversideusa.net.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. Our period of storm-free weather is about to end. For tonight, we're dry through the evening hours with the overnight low temperature tonight very mild, down to about 61. Tomorrow's high temperature, we'll say 78 to 80. Risk of scattered thunderstorms begins Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening. Then there could be more scattered storms on Sunday. A couple of those could be strong, but the main event begins in the pre-dawn hours of Monday morning, and that risk will continue at least through the midday hours on Monday. Showers and storms, some severe with damaging wind gusts and the threat of tornadoes. We're keeping a close eye on it. From our Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
CB&S Bank has digital banking solutions to help you keep up. Check balances, pay bills, and much more. Learn more at cbsbank.com. Charges and fees may apply from your cellular service provider. Contact your service provider for information. Member FDIC.
Live local talk. The River Region's only 24-hour News Talk FM station. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
How about this one, Eddie? He likes the bells.
Yeah. Must be LL Cool J.
It'll show up here in a second. Welcome back. It's been a good show today. No, the little experiment works great.
Yeah.
Feel fantastic right now, and not like altered.
It's
I
like
just feel good.
it's almost like caffeine without the anxiety.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah, without the cortisol. Just surging through. Now, there's been this little back and forth where the current Prime Minister of Canada, Carney, announces a shift in U.S.-Canada relations, not just on trade, but security too. But then apparently Trump called him, and Trump's like, we had a great conversation. We understand each other a lot more now. And it's in particular over the tariffs. The Canadians, the Europeans, luckily, like India's like, actually, we're ready to reduce tariffs on all sorts of stuff. We love the free trade with the U.S. Let's do it.
They want some American goods in there.
Yes.
Yep.
So they're on board, and it looks like the Europeans are balking at this a little bit for the time being.
That's what they do.
But the Canadians are all like, we're going to make Americans hurt. We're going to fight back and all this other stuff. And it's like, well, wait, so y'all are allowed to put ridiculous tariffs and restrictions on us for all these years, but we can't try to strike a better deal?
That's their belief. Yeah, that's what they've been told.
And then you get into things like, in particular, one of the most protected industries in Canada is the dairy industry, right?
Yep.
Would you like to hear from an Ontario dairy farmer about one of the regulations he faces? We've had programs like this in the United States. And by the way, he is this guy, very Canadian. You get it from the first sound of his voice.
Hey guys, we're here at Give and Go's Farm in Southern Ontario.
He sounds like
Give him a hockey
Shorzy.
stick. He knows what to do with it. He's from Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
He's not from Ontario.
No.
We milk about 260 cows. Right now, during the winter months, you milk quite a bit more milk because the feed is very consistent. And if you do a good job, you will produce quite a bit of milk. So, right now, we're over our quota.
We're over our quota.
It's regulated by the government and by the DFO. But the problem is what they don't understand is millions of people look at this milk running away. And it's the end of the month. So I have to dump. I dump 30,000 liters of milk. And it breaks my heart.
It should.
I will show you.
Yeah. You look at that.
By the way, this year, Canadian milk, it's $7 a liter.
Wow.
When I go for my haircut, people say, wow, $7, Jerry, for a little bit of milk. I say, well, you have to go higher up because we have no say anymore as a dairy farmer on our own farm because they
Good man.
they make us dump it. And no matter how we stand up, so this time I'm going public. I want the people to see the pain that us growers have of 365 days as a little boy, we grew up on a dairy farm, came from Europe, work, and here we are. This is what's happening.
Wow.
I'm glad he put that out there.
It's stuff like that where it's like the government is evil.
Yeah.
Oh my!
You saw all that milk being just
$7 a liter. It ain't a gallon either. $7 a liter.
That's crazy.
That is so bonkers. But that's in every industry. There's so crazy restrictions and there's crazy regulations on. Like, ask anyone in a business like that, and they'll tell you it's insanity.
Now, if I say what I'm about to say here in this great state of Alabama, I'll never win election for Senate or anything for that matter. But if you actually had a free market in farming, you would probably see a boom.
Oh, yeah.
In small farms again. And instead, we have a lot. I mean, I haven't looked at it lately, but the inheritance from the whole New Deal period, we were doing that in this country if we don't still do that with certain products. Or, oh, you made too much. So to keep the price a certain way, you have to destroy your crops, destroy your milk. It's literally destructive. It's just evil.
Yep.
I don't mean that necessarily in the biggest cosmic sense of the word evil. I mean that in just evil is often just destructive for no good reason. And you wanting to prop up the price at a certain level is not a good reason. How many people could that feed?
That's just it. With all the starvation going on, not just here, but everywhere, just pouring milk out.
Yeah, I had to share that because thank God that guy did share it.
Take that milk, you can turn it into, you can dehydrate it, turn it into powdered milk, and send it over.
A million different things you can do with that
and
milk
give it over to the
dumping
hundreds
it.
of thousands of people that don't have proper nutrition in this globe. But no, because Canada, the maple leaf R words, just decide, hey, no, you have a quota, you can't make too much milk.
Ugh. My goodness.
God, that freaking wasteland tundra. Can we just annex it already?
It might be heading in that
Turn
direction.
we need to Australia, Canada, just make it a prison colony. Just put up a big wall. And
We
just
can't
send
say,
everyone
but did you hear Michael Malice's recommendation?
No, what?
Has to do with reparations.
No.
Like you conquer people and you can take them as,
Oh.
and then you just give a Canadian to every person.
Oh.
I shouldn't have said that.
One Canadian servant for every
What's the
American
value?
household.
Yeah, for every African American house.
I'm a housekeeper.
Oh, goodness. And real quick for at this break, there are Republican senators that are rallying behind Secretary Pete Hegseth.
Oh, I hope so.
And a lot of them saying the unhinged calls for his fire and resignation are hot garbage. Yeah. A lot here, like Senator Hawley, Senator Mullins, Senator Mike Lee. But look at this. Senator Tommy Tuberville says, rather than celebrating the success of this operation, the same left-wing media, who largely downplayed the botch Afghanistan withdrawal under Biden that cost 13 Americans their lives, is working around the clock to try to get Secretary Hegseth pushed out. And I'm seeing Bernie Moreno, Eric Schmidt, Senator Bank. Oh, Senator Katie Britt. Quote, I'm confident Secretary Hegseth will continue to put our warfighters in the best position and return the Pentagon's focus to our forces' lethality, providing a credible deterrent against our adversaries. So both of our senators sticking by the current Secretary of Defense. Good.
I mean, they should stick behind the Secretary of Defense, but I don't like them sort of echoing Waltz's things of like, why are we talking about how successful this operation was? Well, maybe because A, I'm not sure it was super successful, especially in the long term. But secondly, you really, really screwed the pooch here. Just say, hey, my bad.
Did.
So just say, hey, my bad. Because again, you could see it from the screenshots.
Yeah, but
he
if-
added him.
But say like everybody knows the pooch was screwed,
Mm-hmm.
and they're all looking at you. Do you want to admit?
You have to. That's part of being a grown-up.
Yeah, but this is government
Yeah.
at the highest level.
Yeah, fair enough.
I mean, how else are you going to protect the American people about unless you lie about
Gotta
who
lie
screwed
to
the
'em.
pooch?
Yeah.
You got to lie about screwing
Gotta
pooches.
lie to 'em.
That's how statecraft is done.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Hi, I'm Cheryl Woodward, account executive with Blue Water Broadcasting. Why should you advertise with us? Radio is an active medium. It can create immediacy, driving shoppers to a specific store, brand, or to take a specific action. Radio ads engage with the audience in a personal and unique way. Contact me, Cheryl Woodward, by going to bluewaterbroadcasting.com to find out more. Blue Water Broadcasting, local folks helping local business.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man, Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Ernest. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment. Well, the baby liked it.
Experience the local flavor at Epicure and Jack's Tavern. Their lunch special includes carefully crafted dishes, a drink, and bread for only $9.99 for seniors and $13.99 for others. They prepare every meal from scratch each day using local ingredients. No fast food here, just wholesome, delicious meals made with love. Visit them at Epicure and Jack's Tavern and taste the difference local makes.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
On FM, on your smartphone, and online, the River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Final moments here of the program. Let's go right to the phones and talk to Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. Hey, Ray.
Man, I cannot believe it's 3 o'clock.
I know.
I actually snuck off and went to Gulf Shores with Sailor and Angie. They've been down here all week. I took off yesterday. I failed to answer. And Sailor's tapping my shoulder and asking for the phone.
Nobody wants to listen to you. They want to hear me. I'm the fabulous one.
Hello, Sailor.
Hello. How are you doing?
We're great. What's up?
I'm doing amazing. At the beach, I'm having a great time.
The beach, huh?
So, yes, sir. I'm having a good old time. But you know what will give you a great time?
What's that?
Having brand new flooring from Prattville Carpet. Give my dad a call at 285-8117, and they will give you a free estimate.
Again, that's number is 285-8117. And be sure to say, hey, Sailor took over the phone, and she's so much better at this.
She really is.
Yeah. She's not getting any more root beer the rest of the trip.
Is that her commission? She gets paid in root beers?
Root beer, yeah.
Yeah. No more root beer for her. She's done. And I will be back. I'll be off of my job today. We're coming back tomorrow, and I'll be back on vacation Monday because every day is vacation when you're at work, right?
All right, Ray. Wow.
I'm not a beach person. It kills me.
I guess not.
The sand, the salt water, I don't like none of it. But every now and then you got to do what you got to do, right?
Are you wearing socks with sandals or anything while you're on the beach here, Ray?
No, but I do carry that long shirt with the hoodie.
Yeah. Yep.
When I come back, you'll never know. There's going to be zero evidence I was ever at the beach.
Well.
So I'm ready to come home. So, yeah, call us, 285-8117. We'll come out and give you that free measurement. Next thing you know, you got a floor down. Just that simple.
And be sure when you call them up to tell them, hey, I heard them on the radio with Joey and Eddie. Appreciate it, man.
See you, Ray.
Guys, have a great day.
And for a second, I didn't know what to do. It's like, hi.
Sailor took over, man.
Yeah, that was all of a sudden.
Yeah. You just kind of sit back and watch.
Anyway, did we learn anything today?
No. You know what? We don't need to learn anything
every day.
It was just a good time. Today was just fun.
It was just a good time.
Just a good hang.
We all shared the blues.
We
shared
bonded,
what?
We
the
bonded.
blues.
Oh yeah, man.
We
Later on,
over
we'll
the
share it
blue.
again.
I backed the blue. It's the one time I backed the blue.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
See, I'm always, if you haven't seen this movie, support your local sheriff. That's my standing.
Speaking of movies, I was wrong about Jack Black. Bernie is one of my favorite movies. of all
Bernie, I
time.
forgot about
Yeah.
Bernie.
Okay.
Yep, that was a good one.
Anyway, we do need to get out of here.
All right.
I think Greg and Pamela, are you sticking around? Ed?
I'm hanging out.
Y'all stay tuned. They're next.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. A federal judge has temporarily blocked the U.S. Department of Labor from implementing parts of President Trump's executive orders aimed at curbing diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts among federal contractors and grant recipients. President Trump pushing the House of Representatives to pass a measure it would prevent immediate financial disaster for the District of Columbia. The Commerce Department reports that consumer prices increased 2.5% in February from a year earlier. That matches January's annual pace. Excluding the volatile food and energy categories, prices rose 2.8% compared with a year ago, higher than January's figure of 2.7%. Inflation remains a top economic concern for most Americans. This is SRN News.
While Dennis Prager is recuperating, we know you miss your daily dose of Dennis. That's why Pragertopia is giving you a special gift. Right now, Pragertopia members can hear the